Yes, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, Dorothy. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Before we start, excuse me. So before we start with Candace and what's going on with her update and what the mob is saying about her hubby, we're going to touch bases with the Epstein update first. Just in case some more have come out in my absence. Is that all right? Hey, Spec. Take this out my ear. Y'all ready?
For the first time, we're seeing some of these images and videos from Jeffrey Epstein's private island as the House Oversight Committee, the Democrats, releasing.
I'm gonna try not to clown too hard.
On this Wednesday, is the investigation of the late disgraced financier and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait a minute. Who is this on the wall? What is this on the wall? What are these faces? Them are faces. Who? What the hell? Are those the faces of the men that's been serviced in there? What? Oh my. I didn't notice that before, did y'all? He got, look at that nose on that joker there. I saw the room, but I did not see the faces on the wall. It's some mental shit. Wow.
Late disgraced financier and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, while continuing to call on the Department of Justice to release its files as Congress has demanded. So some of these images inside of a bedroom. We also saw a picture to show a dentist chair in a room with masks on the wall. And this is what they posted on social media, a kind of glimpse of that exact room. Some of these harrowing images for the first time, never before seen.
Dentist chair.
Right now by Bart.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And we've seen documents come out. We've seen words.
I can't help myself.
Released from some of these trove of evidence. This is really the first time we're seeing these images. What do we make of them, and why now were they released?
Well, they were released because the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee received 5,000 pages of new documents, pictures, videos, and other records yesterday, and have begun dribbling them out. In addition, they are getting bank records from J.P. Morgan and Deutsche Bank that they think will help describe how Epstein was able to move money around and perhaps show where the sources of his money came from. So releasing some of these pictures shows sort of a tantalizing look at what was going on that island by showing bedrooms. Of course, there are allegations of sex abuse and rape, that perhaps these bedrooms were the scenes of crimes. That is not stated in the release of the pictures. The picture of the dentist chair with masks on the wall is odd and at least tantalizing what might have happened there. And another interesting picture was a picture of a phone with the speed dial buttons listing first names and what appeared to be cell phone numbers. So it's Mike Cell, Larry Cell. We don't know who those might have been linked to, but again, tantalizing revelations.
That's scary. So,
this private compound as they are trying to force the release of more information from the Justice Department.
And like those emails, there's a lack of context to some of this. You mentioned kind of the phone with the name and a number beside it, and you can kind of allude to what's going on, but we don't know for certain. Are they ever going to connect the dots? Is that what the House Democrats are trying to do by releasing some of these? Is that out there?
That's absolutely the path that they would like to take. This is just a first blush release as they gathered more documentation, but they are absolutely trying to determine more about what all happened on the island, who may have helped Epstein in his alleged sex trafficking, and how were all these, sometimes public figures or rich figures, how were they involved? And so, yes, they are trying to link all of this together.
And you mentioned some of the interesting component, kind of talking about following the money as well. You mentioned the tantalizing nature of these photos, and a lot of people gripping to that, but maybe the money is a more important facet to it. Can you get into that a little bit more? How important is that? Some of those records from JP Morgan following the money, is that more important than the pictures almost?
Well, probably yes. The pictures just describe what the house on this private island looked like in 2020, the year after Epstein died by suicide, awaiting trial on his charges. The pictures were taken by law enforcement, and so it sort of sets the scene. And if you knew that something happened in a specific room, that would help you visualize. All right, here's where it was. Here's what might have happened. But the financial standings are
tantalizing.
Much more helpful in tracking how the alleged sex trafficking was accomplished and who might have helped cover it up or protect Epstein from prosecution before he was indicted in 2019. And I mean, that's much of that is speculation. We don't know what they've gotten in those bank records, but they think by tracing the money, you could trace who supported him and how he was moving dollars around.
And you mentioned the mountain of evidence that there is, and we saw the discharge petition on the House side. It was 427 to 1,
Dave.
I believe, in terms of this. And
you missed the show earlier.
Will this be how we will continue to see it for House Democrats and the
you may want to catch through
it to release it in this way. We've heard
catch it later.
The administration saying they have kind of cherry-picked their way through some of these documents. Is this what we expect? What comes next?
Yeah, well, the big deadline that's coming up is December 19th. The House approved legislation calling on the Justice Department, all of Congress approved legislation calling on the Justice Department to release its criminal investigative files dealing with Epstein. Up to this point, Attorney General Pam Bondi has said they've released as much as they can, that the remainder of the documents is basically pornography or would violate the privacy of victims or others. And so she has been reluctant to release additional documents. This congressional vote is calling on them to release more. We don't know how much more we will get, but that these are criminal investigative files, so they could be, the goal is to say, the trend notes from interviews with victims and others that could provide a wealth of detail about what was happening from the FBI or other criminal investigators. So there's the potential for a lot of information. The concern has been about not violating the privacy of people who might not want to be revealed. But of course, the victims and other advocates have been pushing for the release of much more of this information. So come December 19th, we're going to get a much better feel for how much more we didn't see it from the Justice
Department. Who are those people on the wall?
Very good, Bart. Thank you so much for showing these photos one more time of what the House Oversight Committee really released. And it was good detail that you provided there about the next deadline for this. Also noting what we might see or might not see. Some of those redactions. We saw the name Virginia Guthrie being redacted last time, although she's been very much in the public eye quite a bit around this as well. Obviously, we're following it. Bart, thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great.
Okay. I wanted to see what I was going to say Law and Order, but that's not the name of the group. With Jesse. I wanted to hear his little breakdown. Law and Crime. Let's hear his little breakdown.
White, perfect.
America's #1 sports book is here, Missouri.
FanDuel makes it so easy to get started.
Just released
Hit the likes
reportedly
up,
never
please.
before seen pictures and videos of Jeffrey Epstein's property in the Caribbean. We are going to go through each one right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Let me see if he give a breakdown. A different
Now,
one.
before we get into all this, by the way, we put this out really quickly, as fast as we could. If you're in the content creation game, if you're putting things up on social media, do you know how we are able to do this so quickly? I'll give you a little secret. We use something called Opus Clip. Okay, this is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it so easy to cut side committee. Have just that. Okay, this is a different kind of Jeffrey Epstein update for you, a different kind of sidebar than we have for you. So, as we have been reporting, there has been this congressional committee that has been releasing information regarding the deceased financier who was accused of operating a sex trafficking ring, abusing underage girls for years. Well, now, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have just published reportedly never before released photos and videos of Epstein's private island. Powerful tool there is to help you share ideas and edit like a pro for you. So, as we have been reporting, there has been this congressional committee that has been releasing information regarding the deceased financier who was accused of operating a sex trafficking ring, abusing underage girls for years.
Yeah,
Well,
please
now,
double tap, hit the like button.
Democrats on the House Oversight
Who's that?
Committee have
Oh,
just published reportedly never before released photos and videos of Epstein's private island on the Caribbean. And I'm going to show all of them to you right now. Now, we're talking about Little St. James Island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The House Oversight Committee has been investigating this property. They asked for a series of materials from the U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General.
So, y'all, this is not a house we've been in.
Any local law enforcement were bribed. You know, there's always this thought that if he was committing crimes at a property like this, was there a cover-up? Were there things that people knew and just didn't say? Were they paid off? You know, the committee's chairman, Republican Representative James Comer, stated in his subpoena letter, quote, "The committee believes that the documents related to Mr. Epstein, his estate, and the U.S. VI litigation will aid its ongoing investigation into Mr. Epstein, Ms. Maxwell, and the federal government's investigation into both."
Before I forget, I have to do some more investigation, but there could be a link. Oh, let me put these glasses on, Lord. There could be a link, possible, I'm not sure, between Ghislaine Maxwell and Bill Gates. Bill Gates' mother, before she married, was a Maxwell. There could be a possibility that Bill Gates and Ghislaine Maxwell is related. Yeah.
Both individuals. Now, to put it into a little bit more context, the Attorney General, who I mentioned before, claims that Epstein used this island to cover up his criminal activity. And this AG sued the Epstein estate after Epstein died, saying, remember, he owns a whole island. So it wasn't a situation where a child or a young woman would be able to just break away and run down the street to the nearest police station. You wonder if that's suggesting there was a cover-up by others. And in terms of actual sexual abuse, okay, there is an alleged victim that told CBS that Epstein raped her and held her against her will at this location. Quote, "He also trapped me in his bedroom on the island where he had a gun strapped to his bedpost. I couldn't leave.
Oh,
the only
wow.
means of getting off the island was either helicopter or boat." Now, to be clear,
A gun?
these are images and videos of the property.
A
So you get
gun
sense of what we're
strapped to
talking
the
about. It's
bed.
obviously not evidence of Epstein or others engaging.
Holla.
There is an alleged victim that told CBS that Epstein raped her and held her against her will at this location. Quote, "He also trapped me in his bedroom on the island where he had a gun strapped to his bedpost. I couldn't leave. The only means of getting off the island was either helicopter or boat." Now, to be clear, These are images and
Right,
videos of the
Spence.
property, so you get a sense of what we're talking about. It's obviously not evidence of Epstein or others engaging in alleged criminal activity per se, but what it does show is something very important. Yes, it shows the size, the grand nature of the property, the rooms, the wealth, but it may provide possible clues as to what went on there. The man that was facing federal charges of sexually abusing minors for years. So, let's show you what was released. Now, it's not a ton, okay? Not a ton. Got several photographs. Let's start with that. First one, got to start with arguably one of the weirdest.
Yeah,
This
we
photo of a room with what appears to be a dentist chair, maybe, because you kind of see this certain examination equipment, maybe a massage table in the back, and then look what's on the walls. All these weird masks, all nailed up on the wall. Got to call this photo out too. Looks like a library, really extravagant chairs, desk, books behind glass, but then there's the blackboard. On that blackboard, it appears to be
I thought
written
that was a
words,
TV.
power, deception, plots,
It was
political,
deception.
truth. Don't know who wrote that, don't know when they wrote that, don't know why they wrote that. Then you got this close-up shot of a phone with all these specific names on speed dial, like New York office, Darren office cell, also contacts for Larry, Rich, Mike, and then a bunch of different lines for JEE, so seemingly for Jeffrey Epstein. Have another photo of a bedroom, nothing too out of the ordinary here other than it being perfectly white, perfectly
No
clean,
TV, no
perfectly
nothing.
maintained, almost seems sterile. Got a photo of a bathroom with 2 sinks and these decorative
Why do you
wicker
have chairs
looks
in the
like
bathroom?
Towels lined up on the floor. You have a photo of another dimly lit room, again, well kept, clean, nothing out of the ordinary. Got this photograph of maybe a steam room sauna. I say that because you look at the tiles there, maybe someone could sit. Hard to say, but you have all these towels in the bins, pillows, and if you think back to what the main claims were, that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were abusing girls through massages, you think about that, how the abuse would have been perpetrated, this photo can maybe leave you uneasy. Then you have a photo of the outside of the house, the exterior. Just really, really
Freak
impressive,
nasty.
expensive, massive property. And the videos are going to show that in a minute too. Then you have this shot of a rundown no trespassing sign, private property. Not nefarious or noteworthy other than you couple that with everything else that has been alleged against Epstein and what he's accused of doing
Creep.
behind closed doors takes on kind of a maybe different meaning.
Big freak. Creepy.
With AI,
You can create any character you want in seconds.
this used to require huge Hollywood budgets, complex software, and tons of...
Now, let me go back to the video.
Freak nasty.
So first is a video of the outside grounds.
Y'all please come in hitting the like button. Double tap the face of your screen on your phone. Why would he have men faces on? Hey, Be Rich. Hey, Jamie. James. Why would he have other men's faces on the wall? Kind of remind me of the picture of Bill Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky dress. And I don't like that either. I don't like that sculpture. But I'm glad he wasn't fond of
Just get a sense of how massive this
black
property
people.
is. And if you go back to what the AG said, if someone was trying to escape, good luck. Another one where you can see it bordering the water. And then you have this other video of a bedroom and bathroom.
Kind of like a resort, bed and breakfast.
And another video of a bedroom and bathroom.
I don't like them bed and breakfast. I mean them Airbnbs.
Now look, what to make of all this? Hard to say. Representative Robert Garcia on the Oversight Committee said in a statement, quote, "These new images are a disturbing look into the world of Jeffrey Epstein and his island. We are releasing these photos and videos to ensure public transparency in our investigation and to help piece together the full picture of Epstein's horrific crimes." Now remember, this all comes on the heels of the House Oversight Committee releasing a plethora of materials, emails, texts from and to Epstein. The big headlines were about any possible connection to President Donald Trump. We covered this in a previous sidebar. Messages like one from 2011 from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, his convicted sex trafficker associate, saying, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." And Ghislaine writes back, "I have been thinking about that." But the big takeaway, to put this into context, remember what's happening. This all comes as we are potentially waiting for the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to fully release all of the Epstein files in its possession after President Donald Trump signed into law a bill ordering the DOJ to do so. In fact, I'll tell you what. I sat down with CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig a few weeks back. I don't know if you caught this. It's a really good discussion because we talk about, okay, put all the noise to the side. What can we really expect to be released in these files? Okay, so I want to bring in, I love having him on. We're so lucky that we get him. Special guest, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, former federal and state prosecutor, and author of great book. Oh, there we go. Got it centered there. When You Come at the King. Encourage everybody to pick it up. It is a great read. Look at that. We didn't even plan that. We have it on at the same time. Ellie, thank you so much for coming on. I'm made of questions. Before we get into what we can expect the DOJ will do, talk about this 30-day window, this is the main question I had. I laid out basically what has been released over the last several years. What do you, Ellie Honig, think that is going to be released? What do you think anything new that's going to be released? We talk about these Epstein files. What new is going to be released in your opinion?
Well, Jesse, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to come on with you anytime. I love Law and Crime Network. I'm a fan of yours and the network as a whole.
Sorry. Please double tap.
Second of all, everyone should set their expectations modestly as for what will come out here, because you've been told by members of Congress and others, people in the White House, that here it is, folks. Full disclosure, transparency, you're going to see the Epstein files. Two important qualifications there. One, there is not really such thing. It's not so neat and tidy as the Epstein files. There's not some file cabinet at DOJ that has it all in there. There's a combination of video and surveillance and audio and documents. All we know is it's 300 gigabytes.
Yeah, but see, I think they put a particular type of expectation on it. No, who has put an expectation on it? Who has said that they are expecting it to be a file cabinet? No one has said that. We just want whatever they collected. We have went through 2 of his properties. We've seen some things. We just kind of expect for what was collected, what was all used in order to prosecute him. Nobody's expecting it to be in a particular order. Nobody's expecting that. So I think because they put that out there like that, but who else did? So I don't think that is, I don't think, 1, I don't think it's wise. 2, I don't think it's smart. And 3, I don't think it's fair, because no one has said that I expect it to be a particular type of way. We just want it to be honest and unredacted. Yeah, we don't want nobody, hey, Mrs. Tom and Denise, nobody to be trying to cover up. The cover up has went on for far too long. However it comes out, it comes out. But let it all come out. So I don't think it's cute or fair for them to say, don't expect for it to be a particular way. No one said that they expect it to be a particular way. That to me is still trying to let us know that it's going to be a cover up on the cool. Because who else has said anything about it being a particular way?
Here it is, folks. Full disclosure, transparency, you're going to see the Epstein files. 2 important qualifications there. 1, there is not really such thing. It's not so neat and tidy as the Epstein files. There's not some file cabinet at DOJ that has it all in there. There's a combination of video and surveillance and audio and documents. All we know is it's 300 gigabytes, which you and I aren't really tech guys, Jesse. I tried to figure out. I mean, that's like the equivalent of several thousands audio books or ebooks, basically. So it's a massive quantity. But it's not like there's some neat thing where it's like, just hit send and boop, there you go, we have it all.
No.
But the other thing is, the law that was passed the other day, that Donald Trump signed into law, that Congress passed almost unanimously, again, they're all congratulating themselves, Republicans and Democrats alike, for, look at us, paragons of transparency. The problem with that law is it has 2 massive exceptions, loopholes, whatever you want to call them, which I'll lay out for you here. The first one is ongoing criminal investigation. Now, Jesse, your listeners and your viewers probably know, ordinarily DOJ would never just crack open their criminal files. Okay, everyone, come on in. Here you go. Take a look. The only reason this is being done here, there's so much public interest that it resulted in a law being passed. But the law itself says if there's ongoing criminal investigations, DOJ does not have to turn those over. Now, that means it's up to Pam Bondi. So your level of faith that this is going to be a full and transparent disclosure is equal to your level of faith in Pam Bondi, because I know from being inside DOJ,
and she's
you can open an investigation
what is it, reptilian?
You can claim that almost anything relates.
And she's a reptilian. So we know she evil. Oh, and I caught a picture earlier, y'all. When I tried to minimize it so I can use it as a back, I caught another picture of Trump coming out. His reptilian, his alien was coming out. It came out. Hold on. I said, look at his eyes. Y'all see it? This was a whole picture. Y'all see that, man? What in the world? If I never heard the word transparency again, I'll be happy. Y'all see the reptilian? I said, look at them eyes. Look at them eyes. Oh, Lord. Look at them eyes. That's one of them creatures from the Black Lagoon. See, the only thing here, she got eyelashes on hers. Baby, when I say she put them on, she put them Tammy Faye Baker eyelashes on. She was sure trying to cover something. Look at them eyelashes. You could just, girl, give me that. You know that eyelashes is too long. But imagine looking, taking them eyelashes out. Baby, that would be the same eyes. That's them same eyes. I said, oh, I done seen another one. Hey, Don M, the black eye. Baby, the forehead. Which forehead? This one? Ooh. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I didn't see the... Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Let me take that down. But I said, ooh, I gotta show him. I caught it again. I went from not knowing what it was to seeing them when they come out. Gotcha.
To an investigation somehow. That's number one. Number two, even broader, there's an exception for any materials in the Epstein files that might impact national security. DOJ can withhold those. Now, you're probably thinking, what could this have to do with, United States dealing with Venezuela or Israel or whatever? How about this, though?
Amazon is overcharging you, but I can show you how to avoid it. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
Couldn't an attorney general say, well, that's material in there that's embarrassing or might reflect poorly on the president, the commander-in-chief, the chief diplomat of the nation.
And the commander-in-chief is the predator.
Could be used to embarrass him or could be used to extort him. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but, could be made to look like he's in a bad position. That could undermine our national security. Hence, I will withhold that. So those are the two massive loopholes. And the last thing, Jesse, is we're not going to know. It's not as if Pam Bondi has to do what lawyers do sometimes. We do like a privilege log saying, okay, other side, here's the description of some documents that I've withheld.
She's a liar.
Privilege. We're not going to have that. We're not going to know what we don't know. We're not going to know what Pam Bondi has chosen to withhold. So again, we are sort of at the mercy and whim of Pam Bondi here.
So in other words, we won't know if everything is really turned over unless there's some evidence to suggest something was withheld. And I want to get into that because...
she may be asked. Look, someone may ask, did you withhold anything? And she may say, yes, consistent with the law as passed, I've withheld national security and investigative files. But we're not going to see that, and we're not going to know how many and which ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to get into that a little bit further. There's another aspect of it, too, because it says under this law, they can withhold or redact the identities and personal and medical files of Epstein's victims. They can also withhold material that would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy or depicts or contains child sexual abuse, which they should. But yeah. I guess one of the big questions I've been asked is, so whatever they release, whatever it is they're going to release, is it going to be pages of blacked out redactions?
I don't know.
I would expect that. I think there's going to be two categories of things.
He couldn't have been black.
There's going to be entire files, entire documents that we don't know exist that we're not going to see. But yes, get ready to see. Also, it could be, let's give an example. Let's say you have an FBI 302, which, Jesse, as you know, is a formal typed up summary of a witness interview that prosecutors have done. It could be there's a 33-page 302 where half of it is blacked out, where names are blacked out, where individual paragraphs are blacked out. That's going to take a while for DOJ to figure out, although we'll talk about timing in a moment. But yeah, I would expect to see quite a bit of redaction ink in what we do see.
And just to send it back, so we believe, right, when we talk about what this could be, this is all connected to the Florida and New York investigations into Jeffrey Epstein, right? Generally speaking, I guess that's what it is, and we'll get a little more granular, but generally,
well, that's a great question, because it's not necessarily everything that's known to the world about Jeffrey Epstein. It's not even, we've already seen that Epstein's estate seems to have some documents that DOJ does not have. There was two major investigations of Epstein. There was the one down in the Southern District of Florida, which was federal, run by Alexander Acosta back in 06, 07, 08, which resulted in his sweetheart deal where he did 13 months in state and he was in and out, of custody. That was the original sin in this case. That was when Alexander Acosta let him off very, very easily. Acosta to this day has never provided a satisfactory explanation of why. But so that'll be one set of documents. How far did they range? We don't know, right? Did they just focus narrowly? How many victims did they have? We know that there were many victims presented to that office. So that's number one.
And by the way, that might be duplicative of what was released, the 2006 grand jury transcript and all that.
Absolutely, absolutely. The second category, the second bucket of documents is, if you remember, when this all rebubbled to the surface in 2019 was because Donald Trump made Alexander Acosta his, I think it was labor secretary. And all of a sudden people started saying, wait, hang on a second. Isn't this the guy who back in 07, 08 gave Jeffrey Epstein a pass? The Epstein thing came, honestly, Jesse, I hadn't even heard of it until 2019. I don't think I was aware of who Jeffrey Epstein was, just not living in Florida. But in 2019, Alexander Acosta becomes Trump's cabinet secretary. This comes roaring back to life. And now we're into the second bucket, the SDNY, my old office in New York, picks up this investigation, charges Jeffrey Epstein for a broader range of conduct. He then dies in prison. And then the next year charges Ghislaine Maxwell. She ends up going to trial. So it's going to be those files. But again, the question will be, how broadly did they range? Did they talk to 50 victims or 3 victims? How far back in time did they go? But those are going to be the 2 buckets of information that DOJ has.
And real quick, this is what's in their possession. In other words, there will be people who look at this and say, wait a minute. This doesn't mean everything that's ever related to Epstein, because there have been reports in the past, there have been accusations in the past that there might have been material that wasn't obtained by authorities, that wasn't obtained by the federal government.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the feds, you can't get everything. And, I guess there is an open question one of the criticisms may well be that comes out of this, well, why did they look so narrowly? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yes, there are documents that the estate has that DOJ doesn't have. There are potentially documents that victims have that they don't have. There have been a whole bunch of civil suits. So yes, it's only contained to what DOJ has, and DOJ has no obligation, and I'm sure has not gone out and built up more files, although they are now allegedly investigating new stuff, but that won't come out because it's current, it relates to a pending investigation.
I want to get to that in a minute. So something to consider here as we talk about what we can expect, right? What happened in July? So the FBI, the DOJ, they released this joint memo saying, quote, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Now, we'll talk about what Pam Bondi just said in a press conference regarding this investigation in the Southern District of New York in a minute. But now we're talking about the release of these files in light of what was said by the government in July. Does that mean
y'all double tap the face of your phone, get the lights up,
tying people to criminal activity? Does that mean, do we know that, hey, did they really 100% look at everything, or can we really believe that statement in July?
I don't believe nothing.
In mushrooms.
I don't believe nothing they say.
You love this. I'm Matt, a food scientist.
It depends on which version of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel you choose to believe.
Yeah, which
right?
one?
Because they both had 3 completely different iterations when they were about to take office, and in the years leading up to them taking office, and even after they took office as AG and FBI director. It was all, can't wait to turn this over. Kash Patel says, put your big boy pants on, whatever that means. Pam Bondi, the stuff's on my desk. Remember, Pam Bondi had her big release party where she handed out binders at the White House, phase 1. So that's phase 1. Disclose, disclose, disclose. We're the party of transparency. Then phase 2 is what you just said, Jesse, over the summer in July, this memo saying, actually, no, nothing to see here, nothing further to do. I'm going to speculate.
Yeah, there's some totally different eyes, ain't they?
In fact, it had the opposite effect of causing people to say, what, are you kidding me? After years of promising, now you're saying there's nothing? And now we're into phase 3, which is back to phase 1, which is, oh, no, we have now, yes, sir, we're opening up all these new investigations of Bill Clinton and Reid Hoffman, and and yes, we're all in favor of full disclosure and transparency and all that. Now, as for what we're going to see, my best guess is, look, the bottom line question I think everyone's interested, I think the victims are most interested in, is who did wrong here beyond Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? We know they're criminals, we know they were the ringleaders, but they can't have been the only ones, and let's be a little more specific. People want to know what powerful men had sex with girls, with underage girls. And I think what we are likely to see is a little different from that, is along the lines that we've seen with Larry Summers, right? Which is embarrassing, disgusting, ridiculous correspondence with him and Jeffrey Epstein, but not necessarily anything I've seen that suggests Larry Summers commits a crime in those emails, at least. Stacey Plaskett, right? The representative in the U.S. House from Virgin Islands, embarrassing interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. He's feeding her questions. questions during congressional testimony, which she's then asking Michael Cohen. Michael Wolff, the writer, right? I mean, ridiculous exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein. They're planning PR responses and all that. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to see powerful people embarrassed and potentially deservedly so. But I don't believe we're going to get documents where you're going to say, oh my goodness, this proves or strongly suggests that that person committed a federal crime.
Who is that person?
I would imagine that kind of stuff would be subject to the ongoing criminal investigation exception.
What are your thoughts, Ramon?
Or photographic proof. It goes into that exception of if it's depicting minors being abused, that will not be released to the public. But I do wonder, would there be some sort of summary document saying what those videos or photos depict? But I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
I mean, again, they don't have to, DOJ does not have to, if let's say they have a video that, God forbid, they have some video that shows a child being abused. I think they just withhold that video. I don't think they have to type up a memo saying, be advised. Again, this is what we would call like a privilege log. Like in some forms of litigation, if one party withholds documents from the other, you have to at least say, be advised, we are withholding a document from around this date because it depicts something, whatever. I don't think DOJ is going to have to do that. I don't think we're going to, I mean, they can choose to, but why would they? So no, I don't think we're ever going to know exactly what they've withheld.
Mm-hmm. And who or who not. Maybe.
Yeah, and by the way, you are right. I mean, the third category of exceptions, which is uncontroversial, is they need to withhold information that would reveal victim identities, compromise victim privacy, and also materials that would show that would be criminal in and of themselves. If there's child sex acts or abuse depicted, that should be withheld. I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Well, there are people who are like, okay, just tell us who the adults are in these materials, but okay, put that to the side for a second. And I'll get into the timing of this and what we can expect from the DOJ. I do want your opinion on something, okay? Mm-hmm. Because yes, you mentioned it 100% accurately that they're not going to disclose things if it would hurt or impede an ongoing criminal investigation. It has to be narrowly
thank you. No, bye-bye.
The president ordered Pam Bondi to open up an investigation. Wrote on Truth Social in part, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. And then Bondi replied on social media, thank you, Mr. President. SDNY U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton is one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country, and I've asked him to take the lead. As with all matters, the department will pursue this with urgency and integrity to deliver answers to the American people. Now, this is what Pam Bondi said we should expect.
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
And she was asked, okay, how do you reconcile that July statement that I mentioned before, so nothing more to see, with now opening a Southern District investigation?
The DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
The issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District.
Oh yeah, he was childish.
But you're on point.
So Ellie, I mean,
that's why I didn't even entertain it.
There's new information.
He wanted it too bad.
Again, thoughts on that statement as we're trying to talk about what we can expect. You have this new investigation after the July statement. She was very vague. on one hand, I would say, look, if there is a really investigation, you're dealing with sensitive matter, of course a prosecutor, of course an attorney general wouldn't want
Can you
to
still
reveal
see it?
more
I thought I
information, would
removed
be
it.
kind of subtle in that, but strange.
I am very dubious of Pam Bondi's explanation there. I mean, to believe her, you would have to believe that sometime after July of this year, so sometime in the last 4 months, after she declared nothing to see here, nothing further to be done, some new victim previously unknown or some new documents previously unknown with no ongoing investigation fell out of the sky to justify, let's now open an investigation of these 4 people or whoever, Clinton and Reid Hoffman and all that. The new information is that Donald Trump said to do it. The new information, I believe, is there is a different political wind blowing now. And that's why, look, Pam Bondi's not very good at when she gets caught. It's like we used to make fun of one of my brothers because he was sort of the worst liar. Like, he couldn't keep a poker face and I mean, she's like that too. That was an embarrassing clip. Like, if she was confident, if something really new had surfaced since July, if new victims had come forward, she would have said, because the world has changed since July. When I made that announcement in July, that was absolutely true. Case closed. But I'm telling you, we have substantial new information. We have new witnesses. We have new facts. And we have an obligation to follow up on that. And that's what we're doing now. That's not what she said. Instead, you saw her like backpedaling, stammering, offering nothing of substance. So I don't think anything's changed other than the politics of it all.
But it does give them, like you said, maybe a window, maybe an opportunity, a weapon to not disclose more information.
Here's the paradox of it, though. If this is being done faithfully, if they're applying the exception that says you can withhold documents relating to ongoing investigations, that would mean they're going to be withholding documents relating to Bill Clinton and Reid Hoffman, the people that Donald Trump wants to see hurt publicly, harmed.
Nah, he don't want it. He don't want Bill brought up now.
Those are the very documents.
Since he done had his pickle in his mouth.
So, I'm not sure they've thought this all the way through.
No.
The DOJ will release this within 30 days. If we're talking about a timeline, if we're talking about what
he does not want Bill brought up. Since we know he had that pickle in his mouth. Oh no. He don't want to bring up Bill who? Bill who? Bubba who? What? Don't bring up Bill or Bubba. Leave Billy. Where's somebody in my comments talking about Trump is the GOAT. Baby, I wore that comment out. No. Donica Blowinski, what I put is the Billy Goat. He the Billy Goat. Billy Goat. Yeah, Bill Clinton Goat. Yeah, puppy.
To expect. Will they release it within 30 days? And when?
Hi guys. Okay, as you guys know, I've been very vocal about it. I've been on a GLP-1
Talking about somebody is a goat. He's been all up in somebody's ass and playing with kids.
I have no doubt they
these
will
folks crazy.
release some documents, and probably a lot, probably as much as they can within that.
There's no truth in what?
It would just.
There's Ronna Coffee. There's no truth in what? There's no truth in what? That he sucked Bubba's dick, Galeen. Ronna Coffee. There's no truth in what? Yeah. Be more detailed. Next time, be more detailed. I need to know what you're talking about. Before, yeah. I removed that for you.
Cause uproar if they did not meet their deadlines. Look, this is one of the big questions, Jesse. They could do it on a rolling basis. They could start today and say, here's 10,000 docs, here's another 50,000, here's 100. Or they could just do a huge document dump on day 30th, December 19th. That's up to them. The law does not require them to do it one way or the other. The other thing, though, to know is, again, whatever we get on December 19th, or,
oh, yeah, it is. 19th, it was in Epstein's emails, and then the picture came out. Absolutely. Yes, it is. And the picture has been have been verified that it is authentic. So go on with that stupid stuff. Yeah. The email, it came out in the email first. And there is also a picture of him sucking the pickle. Yeah. And this right here is AI. I got the authentic picture. So go on with that the gherkins. Yeah. So stop making excuses for. So you probably a person who would say that there is no proof that he raped the woman that he lost in court with. There's no proof that he raped kids. You know, you people kill me. You people, Picklegate, absolutely Picklegate. You people kill me, you know, defending a PDFer. How dare you? How dare you? Yes. Yes, the pictures are out. And if it had not been for Epstein emails, we would have never known. And then all of a sudden, he done pissed off Putin and pictures start floating around and about. Get off his tail. He on his knees. Don't you get on yours trying to defend a PDFer and a pickle eater. You want him to eat your pickle too? Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Y'all need to get off of the Kool-Aid and leave that cult alone. Sacrificing kids and drinking blood. He got little boys that he molested. Yes, I am. Are you off, Andy? Yes, you off, because I'm removing you. Come on, y'all come on so I can get y'all butts up out of here. Read the room, dear. Yes, read the room. You see Mrs. Tom? She's trying to help you. Goofy red face. You? Bye. Yeah, goofy red face. Boy, go slap your mama and see how red her face get. Bye. Billy Cheese Dog. You better run.
Gandhi needs to be questioned at every opportunity.
But we bend you over
how much of the
and
total
let Trump get to you.
And how much of the total Epstein files have you withheld? What percent, or at least give us a rough estimate, and we'll see if she's willing and able to answer that. I doubt it. I think she'll probably just say, we've made productions and we've made withholdings based on the law, and that'll be it. But that'll be a burning question. You know, if they release 150,000 pages on December 19th, you and I and the world will Jesse, we'll have no way of knowing, is this 98% of the file? Is this 53% of the file? And that's a question that I believe she will be posed consistently until we get an answer.
And if a majority of it is duplicative of what we've already seen, the response from the public is going to be...
They don't like seeing this picture. So I'm going to leave it right here.
The fundamental thing that the public is having trouble accepting, and which I am, this is where I am also, is that only Epstein
they do have a hard time accepting it.
Are the only people who worthy of criminal prosecution.
They don't have no empathy for the kids and the women and the boys. They just don't have no empathy for them. Hey, Jimmy, they have no empathy for victims and survivors. So they don't have no empathy. I'm not going to have none for them over here. I'm going to eat that ass up. Bend them over and let Trump eat that ass up.
And I don't know, I wish I could say otherwise, but I don't know that we're ever going to get a satisfying answer in prosecution as to who else might be involved. I should note, the statute of limitations on child interstate sex trafficking crimes federally, essentially there is no statute of limitations.
There's no statute.
So it is theoretically possible.
So Trump could be charged.
Some other person was involved in the interstate movement of a person for purposes of child sex abuse. There could theoretically be prosecutions. I mean, I'll give you just a quick example. Ghislaine Maxwell's indictment, which came down in 2020, charged her with conduct that was primarily 1994 to 1997. One of her arguments, which she lost both at the trial court and on appeal in the Second Circuit, was that's too late. The statute of limitations should have been 5 or 10 years. And both the district court and the Court of Appeals said, no, the law has changed, and you can be charged in 2020 for something you did in the 1990s if it's interstate federal sex trafficking of a minor. So I don't want to get expectations up, but I do want to note that that's theoretically still possible.
Trump can still be charged.
First of all, great analysis on this. I have definitely a better picture of what you can expect. I think we all do.
You don't want to be by them?
For you, because you know when this is going to be released, you're going to be chained to the CNN desk with either a computer or printouts.
Okay, let's go. We can go now. Good. The only thing I got out of that was good to hear is that they could still be charged for those kids. There is no statute of limitation. So let's say he get impeached. He could be charged after he's been impeached. I'm talking about Trump, the pickle eater. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Him. Yeah, the slob on the knob. I know somebody just spit their whole drink out. He gonna slob on the knob. Yes, indeed. Let's go here first.
Saving money feels right. Just like
yes, indeed. Yes,
where Candace entered as a
with his whole mouth. Ooh. Let's go before we dig deep. Those files are not good. They're not going away. They want them to, but I'm not glad, but there are kids, and because this girl right here, she is not playing, and she is connecting them dots, baby. She is connecting them dots. She bringing in all of these foreign places. Baby, I'm gonna let her do what she do, and I'm gonna say is that it's all full circle. This shit was way bigger than we ever thought. She ain't going nowhere, and she is going to make sure all the evidence that she has is going, regardless of what happened to her, will come out. Now, I know he ain't real, but let's listen to this.
There's a certain kind of energy you feel the moment you pull up to Candace Owens' Nashville home. Part Southern charm, part fearless confidence, and entirely her. Set on open Tennessee land, this is where family, faith, and unapologetic living come together under one roof. Today, we're stepping inside to see how she built a life that's... There's a certain kind of energy...
I hate that they telling folk where she is. I guess people could probably already know, but... Oh, she coming tonight, isn't she? Oh, yeah, we going now. Where you been, Miss Tom? She done already been out twice. She came out Monday. She came out Monday swinging. She's naming names. She done found the missing $8 million some dollars. Oh, child, where you been? You didn't go back and watch the uploads for the last couple of days? Well, she ain't talking and she ain't scared. She is trusting in the Lord with all her heart, and she's not leaning to her own understanding. She is, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, she will fear no evil. Oh, you talking about Laquita. You talking about Candace. Okay, let's listen. I'm seeing a family and stuff. Bless her heart. I don't like, but I guess they already know where she lives. I guess they already know that. But let's go.
You feel the moment you pull up to Candace Owens' Nashville home. Part Southern charm, part fearless confidence, and entirely her. Set on open Tennessee land, this is where family, faith, and unapologetic living come together under one roof. Today, we're stepping inside to see how she built a life that's bold, grounded, and unmistakably Southern. The story opens in the cool morning light of Stamford, Connecticut, in 1989, where a young girl named Candace Amber Owens grew up in a home held together by the steadiness of her grandparents. She was the third of 4 children, quiet but observant, shaped early by the strength of the people who raised her after her parents separated. Her childhood was not soft, nor was it simple. At Stamford High School, she found herself in the middle of a storm when racist death threats were left on her voicemail by classmates.
Y'all double tap the face of the screen.
Headlines. Her family sued the school board, and the settlement that followed, over $37,000, marked the first time Candace understood how institutions can fail and how fighting back can shape a person. The next chapter takes place on the campus of the University of Rhode Island, where Candace entered as a journalism major with ambitions of stepping into the media world. But the path was uneven. A student loan issue forced her to leave school during her junior year. It felt like a setback, the kind that leaves a young woman staring at the ceiling, wondering what comes next. Yet this moment of uncertainty became the first turning point. Without a degree, she moved to New York City and took an internship at Vogue. The bright offices and fast pace of fashion media opened her world and sharpened her eye for communication, but it also showed her how fragile early career steps can be. From that internship, she shifted into the corporate world, landing a position as an administrative assistant at a Manhattan private equity firm. She worked hard, learned quickly,
Thank you, Mrs.
and
Tom.
eventually rose to vice president of administration. It was the kind of climb that didn't make headlines, but built resilience, the quiet, everyday kind that becomes the backbone for everything that follows. Then came 2015, the year the picture brightens and darkens at the same time. Candace founded Degree 180, a marketing agency, and wrote blogs criticizing conservative figures. She was, at that moment, a liberal voice, confident in her stance. But her next project, socialautopsy.com, changed everything.
William Stapleton, who you cussing at? Who is your message to? William Stapleton. Yeah. Stand up. Type up. Hurry up. Who you talking to? William Stapleton. Who are you talking to with your tone? Who the hell are you? Why the hell are you telling everybody where she lives? Who you talking to? You not gonna answer my question? Oh, okay. Thank you. I mean, because I didn't know who you was sending that to.
Was to vice president of administration. It was the kind of climb that didn't make headlines, but built resilience, the quiet, everyday kind that becomes the backbone for everything that follows. Then came 2015, the year the picture brightens and darkens at the same time. Candace founded Degree 180, a marketing agency, and wrote blogs criticizing conservative figures.
William Stapleton. Did you hear me? Let me take my glasses off. When did you hear me say where she lived? Yeah, I just need to see how bright slow you are. When did you hear me? I just don't understand why you're telling everybody where she... When did you hear me say where she lived? We waiting, but we not gonna wait too long. When did you hear me? I said where she lived. Get your dumb ass out of here. You a funky face lie. You're a liar. You are a liar. I never knew where she lived. I said, William Stapleton, get your funky face ass up out of here. Bye. I don't tolerate liars. Did anybody hear me say where she lived? Or did the narrator of this video say where she lived? These people slow. They slow. They slow. They slow. They are real slow. They got to blame somebody. They got to blame somebody. Now he said he heard me. I just said I never knew where she lived. But I guess they know. Yeah. And then he gonna tell me I did. Yeah, get your dumb ass slow. Yeah. Yeah, your mama dropped you when you was little, didn't she? Yeah, she let you stay down there crying. She didn't even pick your ass up. Yeah, no. It's a no for me.
And wrote blogs criticizing conservative figures. She was, at that moment, a liberal voice, confident in her stance. But her next project, socialautopsy.com, changed everything. Intended to expose online bullies, the site was immediately condemned for violating privacy. The backlash was vicious. Personal information about her began appearing online. She blamed progressive activists, though no proof was ever found. But it didn't matter. The emotional shock pushed her into the arms of conservative allies who defended her. That moment was the hinge on which her political identity turned. By 2017, she went from criticizing Donald Trump to openly supporting him. She launched Red Pill Black, stepped into the world of black conservatism, and quickly gained traction.
How did you go from criticizing him? So she did the same thing that Vance did and somebody else did. Went from criticizing him to supporting him. How? What made that turn? You went from criticizing him.
But it didn't matter. The emotional shock pushed her into the arms of conservative allies who defended her. That moment was the hinge on which her political identity turned. By 2017, she went from criticizing Donald Trump to openly supporting him. She launched Red Pill Black, stepped into the world of black conservatism, and quickly gained traction. The stage widened. In 2018, she became communications director for Turning Point USA, stepped onto TV sets, onto stages, into debates, and into controversy. She registered as a Republican and found herself in the middle of national discussions, often polarizing, always loud. Another shift came in 2021 when she joined The Daily Wire. The move gave her a larger platform, her own talk show, Candace, a space built around her voice, her arguments, her forceful way of cutting into cultural debates. It was the moment
I would think that would make her not move towards him if she saw what was really going on.
A woman willing to challenge movements, dismiss mainstream narratives, and align herself with figures like Donald Trump and Kanye West. Her views are sharp and often divisive.
Because if she went from criticizing him to supporting him, then what did she see? What was really going on? Because now she's back to criticizing him. So whatever it was that she thought that she saw, because she thought that he stood up for the middle class, and he ain't never stood up for the middle class to me. I mean, he's always been a wolf in sheep clothing, and you let me tell it. So I'm trying to understand, what did she see that she was criticizing him, then erased it and started supporting him? Well, I understand now maybe then, my only assumption is maybe then he wasn't deep off into the pro-Israel the way he is now. Because what made her, as some would say, backpedal, I say is the lights came on for her. And I think what really took her, what allowed her to see the deception is the genocide and the abuse and the unaliving of kids. So light on, perfect. Yeah, the light came on. But to me, the light should have never been off. But I will say it took a different turn for her and probably Charlie Kirk when that Zionist stuff became so prevalent. And they saw the genocide when they went to Israel. And then the deceit. And they really thought that, again, like she said, she really thought that they saw the vision and that they really believed in them, and she was bamboozled. Yeah. They got tricked. Not only her, but Charlie Kirk as well. But they got in too deep and they forgot. Yeah. And then they realized that they were a part of a cult. And they just really didn't realize how deep it was until it looked like it could possibly have been a little too late. And they didn't know the rules. They didn't know the rules that you just can't back out. You just can't turn on them. You just can't know what's going on and then they just gonna trust you to get out. It just don't work like that. And they just did not know the rules. Yeah, but they don't know it's an oath. They just did not know that. They thought that they could join the organization, and then when it no longer serves them, or they start doing some things that they don't want to be a part of, that they can just leave. And that's what Charlie Kirk thought when he denounced pro-Israel. And on top of that, they was funneling money. They was stealing. Thank you, Lady MT. Yeah. So when when they caught on to the stealing, that in itself was an issue. And it was more than one party stealing. Yeah, because the way Candace talked, she had already figured out that the cult, the men raping kids, and because listen, you can feel some way about a situation, but then when you find out they raping kids, so this is a whole trafficking organization, and what they got to do it. Everybody doing it, and then what? I mean, and they unaliving them. Oh hell no! I'm finna get out this. This is way over my head. And then they said no, it's one way in, one way out. And then you like, wait, what? I ain't signed up for this shit. And then it's like, yeah, but no, we put millions of dollars in y'all account. We donated. The minute you accepted the millions, you accepted our terms. Because she definitely knows what's going on. Yeah. And she's steady connecting dots. Let's go.
Criticism of climate change, rejection of modern feminism, criticism of Black Lives Matter. opposition to abortion and gender-affirming care, and frequent challenges to immigration and welfare policies. She has repeated the idea that the 2020 election was stolen and has pushed unverified claims about global figures and protests. Whether one agrees with her or not, her voice has become impossible to ignore. Today, Candace Owens stands as one of the most unapologetic voices in American political culture, shaped by every sharp turn and confrontation she has faced. Whether praised or criticized, she moves forward. Forward with unwavering confidence, fully committed to the path she has chosen. And now, we explore the home in Nashville.
Now, who said the name? Who said, Tennessee? Was that me? Or was that the narrator? I can't stand folk come over here lying. The narrator. Dumbass Trump supporters.
Where Candace Owens finds her calm. House in Nashville. Set on an expansive cul-de-sac lot in West Nashville.
They showing a house. Oh, Lord. So it's already out here.
Nashville. Candace Owens' home appears modest from the street, but the moment you step through the gate, the property reveals the quiet luxury of a space rebuilt from the inside out. The lawn opens wide beneath a canopy of mature trees, and the white brick facade, fresh landscaping, and clean porch lines create the sense of a home that has been carefully edited rather than simply updated. The walkway leads toward a front door framed by trimmed shrubs and soft earth tones, setting the tone for what becomes a surprisingly polished interior.
I'm sure she
has. A home
has.
Shaped by intention, not excess. Inside, the living room opens in a wash of white and natural light. Pale oak floors
that does not look like a house with a woman with kids.
While buccal armchairs and a sculptural gold chandelier add a touch of editorial refinement. The new windows brighten every corner.
That's cute, but that does not look like a house with a woman with 2 or 3 kids.
Balancing public attention with a need for privacy. Soft textures, curated decor, and a sense of openness make this room feel like a quiet reset after long days in the spotlight. From the living area, a wide arched doorway leads directly into the kitchen.
Too bright for
kids. The visual centerpiece of the home. Here, a waterfall edge quartz island sits beneath twin blue and brass pendants, while a custom wood-wrapped range hood rises over a full-height quartz backsplash. The cabinetry is seamless, the fixtures gleam in brass, and every surface feels deliberate, creating a kitchen that anchors both daily routines and long conversations around the island.
Oh, okay.
Just beyond, the dining area softens into warm textures
what's the guy's called?
And a sunlit backdrop. Woven pendant lights hang over a long table, and 3 windows frame the fenced backyard, offering privacy without closing off the view. The openness of the layout makes each space feel connected. A gentle flow from cooking to eating to conversation, all wrapped in the soft brightness that defines the interior style.
Please get the lights up.
It is a home meant to be lived in, not...
Oh yeah, I need for y'all to double tap. You know, it's cute, but that's not, I can't believe she lives there with kids. No. No, she has what, 2 or 3 of them? No. And the walls are white. Oh, hell no. No. It's cute though. It's a cute little house. Yeah, no. No. Yeah, heck, if y'all said a dog, if she got a dog. No. I need for y'all to double tap the face of y'all screen. If you're using a white furniture. Oh, yeah, no. I used to like white furniture. A white sofa, yeah, I've had one. But yeah, no. But you can't sit on it. You know. I remember I ain't gonna even tell you. The plastic, yeah. You still had the plastic on it, AunTeaFee. And I was in my 20s too. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, I was in my, yeah. Well, yeah, because listen, no. And I had white in an apartment. Yeah. Once I moved there, it was in the house. I had leather. White and young and with kids, no. Yeah, I need for y'all to get the likes up. Double tap the face of your phone if you are using listening in on your phone device. And if you are on your computer, there's 3 dots at the top right, up there. Yeah, hit them for me and get the likes up. 3 kids and right, it don't make sense. And now I don't believe she still live here. No, I mean, shout out to the family. Oh, you talking about to us. Well, yeah, but in a house, I get it because you have a couple of different rooms. You have the living room and the den. Yeah, and the living room was just for like a picture view. Yeah, a window seat. You look at all and you walk on by. Yeah, and typically that's where the white furniture would be. But you know, I don't know. I don't want to say I was kind of bougie on the cool. I don't know what I was thinking. But I was in my 20s. Was it early 20s? Mid 20s? Yeah, it was early mid 20s. Lived by the airport. I don't know what I was on. But that plastic, yeah. Y'all not gonna get the likes up? Okay. Don't say no when I cut it off.
Performed in. The primary bedroom continues the home's
all white bedroom,
soft, neutral bedding, modern lighting, and wide windows overlooking the yard.
This is like a stage time.
A large custom walk-in closet sits beside it, lined with shelving and long hanging bays that keep everything visible and ordered. Inside the ensuite bathroom, fluted wood cabinetry, marble counters, brass sconces, and clean oval mirrors create a boutique hotel stillness. Every detail, from the inlaid lighting to the polished hardware, adds to the home's understated elegance, the kind that grows more charming the longer you stand in the room. Upstairs, the loft becomes a small retreat of its own. Low ceilings and soft white walls.
I'm trying to find a room where she do her
armchairs
podcast.
And a wooden table offer a private corner for reading, planning, or simply slowing down. Downstairs, the additional rooms open to flexible spaces for work or guests, each finished with the same bright, clean aesthetic that ties the entire home together.
Nah, because the room where
Across
she...
the driveway, the
go.
detached DADU mirrors the careful design of the main house. With new roofing, new HVAC, upgraded windows, and matching finishes, it functions as a self-contained guest suite or office, a rare luxury for a home in this part of Nashville, and an invaluable layer of privacy for someone whose career is always in public view. It is the kind of space that adds both function and comfort,
Ain't none of those rooms where she go live at.
Without breaking its quiet tone. The backyard stretches wider than most properties in the nations, its open lawn bordered by old trees and clean fencing. Sunlight moves easily across the grass, and the yard becomes a natural extension of the interior. A place for slow mornings, safe play, late afternoon talks.
That house we just saw does not look.
It is a gentle buffer between the rhythm of the city and the calm of home. This Nashville residence reflects a version of Candace Owens,
who said tacky,
far quieter than her public persona, structured, intentional, private.
Okay, so yeah, this was a long time ago because she has other kids. Yeah, she has more than one son.
Yard stretches wider than most properties in the nations. Its open lawn
Who
bordered
said
by
no
old
room for
trees and clean
the
fencing.
loft?
Sunlight moves easily
Who said
across the
tacky?
grass, and the yard becomes a natural extension of the
Hey,
interior.
Cynthia.
A place for slow mornings, safe play, late afternoon talks, and quiet southern evenings. It is a gentle buffer between the rhythm of the city and the calm of home. This Nashville residence reflects a
Baby, her son is a light version. So this is what I'm talking about when I say 50 Shades of Brown. 50 Shades of Brown. Oh, the White House. The white and gold house. Yeah.
version of Candace Owens, far quieter than her public persona, structured, intentional, private, and deeply rooted in
just like
family
her.
life. It is a home that speaks not through extravagance.
Don't buy
Yeah,
marshmallow mix from Oksha. Only
she has a daughter now and another son.
People asking what perfume you're wearing.
But through the clarity of its design, a place shaped for comfort, safety, and the steady rhythms of everyday living, where the noise of the world fades and the meaning of home becomes unmistakably clear. And now, we take a closer look at the cars that carry her through everyday life and the important moments that shape her world. Car collection. The first car is the Tesla Model 3, an electric vehicle she chose for its quiet simplicity and the calm it adds to her daily rhythm. It is not overly expensive or flashy, just a clean, bright cabin, a minimalist dashboard, and that soft electric pull when she presses the accelerator. She often uses it with George on school drop-offs, errands, or short drives around Nashville. With its 283 horsepower electric motor, smooth acceleration, a range of about 358 kilometers.
Well, she can outrun them, can't she?
The Tesla Model 3
she can
feels
lose
like
her
a
ass.
pause in her busy life. Light, quiet. From that gentle
She likes
simplicity,
white, y'all.
The world shifts into something far more commanding with the Mercedes-Benz GLE 350. The car she chooses for days that demand presence and poise. Candace loves the feeling of stepping into its warm, wide interior. The leather seats, the soft ambient lighting, the modern screens wrapping the dashboard.
She likes white.
She once took the GLE on a trip to meet Donald Trump, a moment that carried a quiet weight as she and George rode together, collecting their thoughts before arriving at the private discussion. Valued at around $60,000, the Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 has become her go-to when she needs confidence, comfort, and the grounded steadiness that lets her move through high-profile moments with ease. These cars reflect the different parts of her life, the calm everyday moments and the busier responsibilities that come with her world. And now we move into the wider picture of what she owns, the assets, investments, and financial choices that shape her world today. Income and net worth. Candace Owens currently has a net worth of $5 million. This wasn't the result of a lucky break or a blockbuster deal. Instead, her wealth grew incrementally, built by dramatic career moves, controversial moments that thrust her into the spotlight, and her ability to turn any platform she touches into a steady stream of income. But the journey started far smaller. Before any spotlight, before any book deals or podcast contracts, Candace earned one of her earliest paychecks as an intern at Vogue in New York, a position that paid little but opened the door to the media world. Her next step, an administrative job at a Manhattan private equity firm, offered a steadier salary and eventually promoted her to vice president of administration. It was not glamorous money, but it taught her how business works, a foundation she would later rely on, especially as her public voice grew louder. The real financial climb began when she stepped into politics and commentary. By 2017, her YouTube channel and blog generated her first personal revenue, small commissions, modest advertising income, and speaking fees from early appearances. These numbers were nowhere near today's scale, but they marked the moment her voice began paying her bills and set the trajectory for everything that followed. Then her income expanded sharply. Joining Turning Point USA as communications director brought her a professional salary, consistent travel stipends, and access to platforms that boosted her visibility. With visibility came money, paid speeches at universities, event appearances, and sponsorship-style earnings tied to her growing conservative audience. But the biggest shift came when she became a brand of her own. Candace signed book deals, launched her podcast, and joined the Daily Wire in 2021, a move that reportedly included a high-value contract reflecting her influence and audience size. The podcast, Candace, became a major revenue stream through advertising, membership-driven views, and corporate backing, solidifying her position as one of the most recognizable conservative commentators today. From there, her secondary income began to layer itself quietly but consistently. Royalties from her books added a steady stream, followed by merchandise sales built around her political messaging. Paid collaborations across conservative media broadened that flow, while behind the scenes she invested in business ventures she rarely details publicly, though she often hints at them in interviews, suggesting a financial portfolio more diverse than what the public sees. All of these layers form the financial engine behind her current lifestyle. The ability to purchase a redesigned Nashville home, raise her children in a private Southern setting, and maintain the secure, structured life she often speaks about publicly. Her financial strength is not defined by a single role, but by the accumulation of every step she took. Each reinvention, each platform, each moment she turned into opportunity, shaping a path that continues to expand with every new chapter of her career. And from that stability, we move to another part of her story. The ideals she chooses to support. The values she shares. Philanthropy.
Let's go.
One of her earliest commitments was supporting local churches and community centers across Tennessee. Each year, she donates $50,000 to fund food drives, emergency heating programs, and youth outreach. Education became her next focus. She partnered with private Christian schools in Nashville, contributing $30,000 annually to scholarship funds for students who cannot afford tuition. She often says she gives because she wants children to experience stability early in life. Candace also supports pregnancy resource centers across the South, donating more than $70,000 over the past few years. Her contributions help provide counseling, medical support, and essentials for new mothers. Her charitable efforts also extend into programs supporting Black youth, particularly in cities where opportunity often feels out of reach. Over the past few years, she has donated more than $40,000 to mentorship groups and after-school programs that help young Black students build confidence, find direction, and stay on track academically.
These
efforts reveal a side of Candace that is quieter than her public voice, one rooted in responsibility, faith, and a steady desire to lift others where she can. And from these values, we explore her daily life, where her family, her habits, and the moments that shape world outside the spotlight. Personal life. Candace Owens' daily life now moves at a steadier rhythm than the fast, confrontational world she works in. Most mornings begin quietly in her Nashville home, where she and her husband, George Farmer, manage the routine of raising 3 young children. Their oldest son has become energetic and curious. Their daughter follows closely behind with a calm sweetness. And their youngest, born in 2023, has brought a new layer of noise and joy into the house. Much of Candace's day revolves around them, helping with lessons, keeping them on a schedule, and creating a home environment that feels grounded despite her public career. Her marriage to George has also shaped much of her present life. His work at Parler keeps him tied to the conservative tech world, but when he's home, the two move in sync, sharing childcare, planning family activities, and settling into their own version of a Southern household. Their circle of friends is small and intentionally chosen. Colleagues from the Daily Wire, families they've met in Tennessee, and a few long-term friendships that remain steady even as their lives evolve. Work still threads through her week, but differently than before. Episodes of her show are filmed in structured blocks, allowing her to protect family time. Writing, planning, and research often happen late at night, when the house is finally still. She spends more time at home now, using that consistency to balance public intensity with private calm. Travel has become purposeful rather than constant. When she leaves Tennessee, it is often for speaking engagements, book-related events, or short visits to collaborate with colleagues. She rarely stays away long. The pull of home, children, and routine brings her back quickly. In the spaces between work and motherhood, Candace has leaned into new habits. Organizing family life with precision, spending quiet evenings reading or outlining new projects, and building a slower lifestyle that reflects the phase she is in. One focused on raising 3 young children while keeping her career controlled rather than chaotic. Her personal world today is not defined by noise, controversy, or confrontation.
You're beautiful. I agree,
It is
Mark.
built around family schedules, private moments, and a home that keeps her anchored. This is the version of Candace that exists beyond the camera. A mother, a wife, a planner, and someone trying to create stability in a life that rarely offers it. If you enjoyed exploring Candace Owens' world, make sure...
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's see. I'm not going to stay here long because I need to go to what her... This is going to be a little longer, but I just want to hear what we missed yesterday when we got thrown off. Was it yesterday or earlier today? We got thrown off. Yeah, we got thrown off when they tried to
Stop using ChatGPT and Canva like children's toy.
check me on my knowledge. Is this how far we got? We want to hear what he said about the husband. Let's go. I need for y'all to get the likes up. Double tap the face of your screen, please. Hit the 3 dots at the top. I'm trying to be nice and respectful, but I need for y'all to get the likes up. Only one person has double tapped. Hit the 3 dots at the top right. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on. Got quite a bit I need to try to catch up on.
Your wife and say, listen, well, as her husband, why would you let it get to that point? Why wouldn't you sit her down as your equal, your wife, and say, listen, I'm worried about you. Enough is enough. If the government is hiding something, she's not going to uncover it. We couldn't uncover John F. Kennedy's true assassination, and I know there's a lot more to it. It's been 63 years, and we can't get to the bottom of it. Martin Luther King, the same thing. Robert F. Kennedy, the same thing. Jimmy Hoffa, the same thing. If people don't want you in power to get to the answers, you're not going to get to it. Period. She's not going to do it. If the United States government, like she alleges, and the Israeli government, like she alleges, is behind this in some way, you're not going to prove it. It's not going to come out. So why are you doing all of this? What's your end game? Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Francis. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, my friends, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that, especially through this holiday season. Candace Owens. Mention that name and what happens? People perk up, rightfully so. She's done a tremendous job in building her platform, no question about it. I give her a lot of credit for it. I know how difficult it is to build a platform on YouTube, and she's done a masterful job, no question. Whether you agree with her, disagree with her, doesn't matter. You got to give her props. She's done what she's done. But I made 2 posts on my X platform, and I stated something that I believe to be true. And the reason I made 2 posts, I'm going to tell you why. First post, I said that Candace Owens has now become the object of a lot of scorn and vitriol and hate online. And even death threats, according to her. She's getting death threats now out of France. And I held her husband responsible for that. I said he should have never allowed it to get to a point where his wife is facing these kind of problems. And I got, I don't know, 500,000 views on that. And I got a lot of people that agreed with me and a lot of people that vehemently disagreed with me. And basically, views on that, where his wife is facing these kind of problems. And I got, I don't know, 500,000 views on that. And I got a lot of people that agreed with me and a lot of people that vehemently disagreed with me. And basically what they were saying, you know, and you get a lot of silly comments, but basically what they were saying is, how do you talk about a guy controlling his wife? They use the word control. And I responded to some of the comments, and we'll go through some of them. And I tried to explain myself. I said, maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. I said, the woman has gotten to a point where she's got death threats on her now. She's got a lot of vitriol and hate, and a lot of people are just knocking her online. And I said, it's a husband's job to protect her. And at some point, he should not have permitted it to get to that point. He's got influence over her. Well, I responded to that video after I read some of the comments, and I clarified it. And I said, hold on. I stand by what I'm saying. I hold him responsible for allowing it to get to this point, because I believe it's a husband's job to protect his wife and his family at all costs. And I think at some point he should have stepped in and said, hang on, enough. I'm hearing all this feedback online. People are upset with you. They're calling you names. There's hatred coming. There's vitriol coming. I don't like it. And now there's a death threat from France. According to her, she stated this. And people were saying to me, he doesn't have control over her, and how dare you say that? You know, she's her own person, she's independent, she's doing what she wants to do, she has a voice. I agree with all that. She's independent, she has a voice, she can do all of that. Whether we agree with her or not is not the issue. But her husband should have stepped in. People say,
see, this is the reason why I wanted to show her living, her family, you know, because I want to be honest and frank, because we appreciate everything that she is doing, and all the intel and the, you know, having Charlie Kirk's back and wanting the truth to be exposed. But she has a lot to lose. And the only thing that I can say to put in place in front of her husband, her kids, her family, her life, would be that she is doing it for Charlie, but she's also being a vessel for God. So when I channel that in, that will supersede all the earthly purpose. But that would be the only compromise. I'm trying to word it correctly. I mean, if she lines it up with God, and she does. She absolutely does. She has principles. She has standards. She has character, and she is lining it up with God. At times, she is too judgmental about sin, because she doesn't make herself perfect. She doesn't make herself clean. That is the gift of Christ's sacrifice. It has nothing to do with us. So with that, I have to move that over to the side because that supersedes everything. But I wonder do her husband have her back the way she has Charlie Kirk's back? I don't know that. So when I saw this the other day, I wanted to hear what he had to say and how he lined it up after we saw how she lived and what she had to lose. If that makes sense to anybody. I don't know her husband. Now, I want to be honest with this because I don't know her husband. And a lot of the people in the circle, I don't know if he was in the Turning Point circle. I don't know if he was he tied to Donald Trump, So, because I don't know his ins and outs and his affiliation, I don't know 100% if he's a mold or not. Because just like they have females, when we heard that lady about a month or so ago, who was groomed and pimped out by her mom for the elites, and she was groomed to spy at 8 or 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. She was groomed to be a spy, and she was placed with certain guys to learn their weaknesses. So I remember that. And typically we heard about the females being spies to the guys. Well, I'm sure that there are men who are spies as well. And so I'm just trying to get a feel of who her husband is. If that makes any type of sense, because when she got her warning, it said, remove yourself from anybody that you have been in 30 feet of within the last month. And yeah, that means everybody, don't it? But on the flip side of that, she's saying that she is trusting in God to be her protector and her shield. And so I commend her on that too. So listening to him, I agree with him to a certain degree. Yeah, and I'm a park it right there. But I don't want anybody to think that I haven't thought about her dude being a mold. Because how did they meet? I mean, I don't know that part of the story. So let's listen.
Has no control over her. I said, well, yes, he does. According to her own words, yes, he does. And what do I mean by that? She stated publicly, and you can look it up, I would only stop doing what I'm doing with respect to Charlie Kirk and some of the other things that she's doing, calling people out, if either Erica Kirk or my husband told me to stop. Well, obviously he never did. Maybe now he did, now that she's got a death threat, and said, hey, enough. I don't know. I'm not in their home. I don't know what they discuss. But I believe he let it get to a point where he shouldn't have. And what I stated was this. This is not a question of controlling your wife. It's a question of controlling the situation. Now, he obviously has influence on her. Well, how do I know that? Well, she said it. If he would have told me to stop, I would have stopped. But obviously he didn't. And she was once a Christian, and he is a Catholic, and she became a Catholic as a result of her marrying him. Nothing wrong with that. Christians, Catholic, they still believe in the foundation of our faith, which is that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. But obviously he has influence over her. And maybe that's a better word to use. Not control, because I didn't mean it that he was controlling her, but I meant that he was controlling the situation. When you see that your wife is becoming the object of scorn and ridicule and vitriol and hate, how do you just stand by? I mean, they have 4 children together, all young children. And now it's got to a point where the Macrons allegedly, this is her word, she said it publicly, I'm not saying it, I don't know if it's true or not. But I understand it even got to the White House. They didn't verify it. I don't think they took a position on whether it was true or not. But the information made it even to the White House somehow. So maybe there's some validity behind it. I don't know. Listen, I get death threats. You know, you don't know. Some of them are real. Some of them, they're just out there. But the point is they're happening. And I said it's a husband's #1 job to protect his wife. How do you let it get to that point? And then I went a step further.
Well, he's a
And I
mob,
said, you know,
so,
listen,
I mean, I'm listening.
If she believes that, you know, there's an assassination plot that's deeper than what they're alleging right now, what the investigation had covered to this point, fine. That's her friend. Do whatever you need to do. Investigate it. Do whatever you need to do. I have no issue with that. But some of the things she's done, she's brought a lot of vitriol against herself. Now, is it warranted? I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that people should go off on her because she's had a certain point. I mean, maybe if she insulted people, they can come back and respond to that. But I'm not advocating violence against her or hatred against her in any way. I don't think that's right at all. So I'm not saying that anything that's happening to her is justified. I'm not saying that. But I'm on social media too. I understand that you can say things that can cause people to be pretty upset. And in today's world, there are a lot of loose cannons out there.
Turn this life around.
So my point is, you need to protect your wife.
I agree
I'm
with
sorry. There is a point when you sit her down and say, hey, enough. This is getting to a point where, #1, I can't sit back and listen to people saying such horrible things about my wife and ridiculing my wife and calling her names and spewing out hatred on her. I can't do that. And now it's even gone to a point where possible hit out on you? No, I can't do that. As a husband, you needed to bring it to a halt. I maintain that position. Won't get off of that. I agree with that 1,000%. I can never sit by and watch my wife be the object of scorn and hatred and vitriol and, God forbid, a contract, none of which is justified. She has a right to say what she wants to say online. If people want to respond to her, that's one thing. But the hatred and all this stuff, you know, I don't agree with any of that. And she shouldn't be the object of any of that. I'm not saying it's justified, but hey, we live in the real world. We know what social media is all about. It happens. And he should have protected her. That's my position. Well, when I made the second video and people kind of understood when I clarified, I didn't change my position at all. I just clarified it because for some reason, both men and women were offended by the word control. And I want to explain this too. If a man, a husband, is doing something that could possibly jeopardize himself or his family in any way, then the wife has every right to sit him down and say, hey, what are you doing? I know darn well if I was doing something that jeopardized my family and my wife knew, she'd be the first one to say, hey, cut it out or stop or you've done enough, end it. I'm finished with it. And I want to bring up another point. The world doesn't need another wife.
I mean, so the word control seems a little harsh.
A reason that's real. A reason that means something.
But I don't think he meant
who live different,
control,
who drink different. With AI,
you can create any character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge Hollywood budgets,
it's one
complex
thing
software.
it
obviously all started with the Charlie.
Yeah, so it's not dictatorship. It's just it's you know, love, out of love, concern. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have to be harsh. It can just you know, a conversation, respectful conversation with genuine concern about you, me, and our family. And just having to have a reality check. You know, finding balance. You know, and if there is no balance and your life is in danger and I'm not able to protect you, then where does that leave him and the family? I mean, I get that. That I get. Yeah, because Are you choosing Charlie Kirk's death over your family? Are you choosing Charlie Kirk's death over your own life? And she may be over her own life, but you have life now. You have a husband and you have kids. And if we have a loving relationship, a loving marriage, we have a loving family, we are one. We solid. We one. And in our oneness, I'm not willing to compromise you or my family for the cause. So where does that lead? So we got to find a balance. Even if you have to scale back, even if you have to take a break, whatever that balance is, we got to find a balance. They say he's pretty well off. Can we have protection? Can we have security? Can we incorporate some things? And if you can do that comfortably, cool. But there still needs to be a time frame put in there. If it was me, and I'm trying to be understanding and find balance, my first thing would be, how long are we going to dedicate? How long are we going to sacrifice ourselves, sacrifice our family, sacrifice our time, sacrifice our peace? How long are we going to make this type of sacrifice? Yeah. I understand how you feel. I'm here for you, but on his part of the oneness, he may not be as fully vested as she is. So where's the balance? So I hear him. I understand him. I would marry a man who couldn't respectfully, kindly, cuddle me in my loss and help me get to a place where I could do as much as I could and release what I couldn't. So I get him. I think he's right. Control is not the word. But finding balance, be able to communicate with your spouse and help put a different perspective and a priority. And again, we gotta find a balance. Balance is very key to a lot of circumstances and situations and relationships. Balance is key to individual person. We gotta find balance. We can't be so extreme to the left and lukewarm to the right. We gotta find, because the reality of it is the key to peace is balance. How do you get in the middle of it? Of the everyday hustle and bustle, work, finances, family, church, whatever organization that you're a part of, where's your middle? And we all got to find balance, because that is absolutely where peace is. Okay, I'm going to move on to her show. It's more to it. I'll listen to the rest of it to see what other intel he provides. But I want to get over to her show. I just wanted us to be able to get a feel of her family. She has a beautiful family. She had a beautiful friendship. She has a beautiful family. She has a good career. She has a lot at stake. And I can also understand her wanting to bring down this whole organized crime. especially if she knows what's going on. But at this point, the way Trump has a hold, a tight hold on the Department of Justice, she can't trust the Department of Justice, FBI, she can't trust CIA, secret, so none of that she can trust. So what do? When he has a grip on all of that, whether right or wrong, he has a grip on it. So you can't go to the people who you are supposed to be able to go to. And that's her rock. What is a rock in a hard place? That's her problem right there. If it would have been anybody else in office, you know, it wouldn't have been that tough for her. Because she definitely knows what she's talking about. And right now, it appears to be almost impossible to get done what she needs to get done because they all crooked and they all involved. Let's move on to what she's talking about today. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I wish she wouldn't have told where she lives, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Hopefully she's moved, because I don't think she's staying in that all-white house. That house ain't big enough for 3 kids, a husband and a wife, and a dog. No, that house is not big enough for that. It's just not big enough for that. So I'm positive that she has moved with 3 kids.
Make him a sandwich is not just available on the Make.
Is this today? No. Shout out to Candace, though. She has a nice family. And I'm hoping that God steps in and provide the justice that is needed. This is it. Where is it at? I'll read that in just a minute, Dorothy. Let me get to it. Y'all, please get
All right,
the
you
like
guys,
up.
it's happening. It's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Okay, y'all, please get the likes up. Double tap the face of your screen. Please get the likes up for me. I would greatly appreciate it. I know that I am probably going to be a little bit longer than what we normally do, but sometimes we got to do what we got to do. Woo! Sometimes we got to do what we got to do. You understand? Somebody just sent me some flowers, I think. Hold on. Thank you, Mark. Some flowers. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go. Let's get the lights up, y'all. Lord, it done got stuck. Hold on, I'm stuck. Hold on. I'm sorry. It's just done got a little stuck. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I made a mistake. It won't be an AunTeaFee stream without getting stuck. Ah! There we go. I'm unstuck. I know I'm unstuck now. Okay. Well, it used to kick me out. What else did it used to do something crazy? Oh, my battery. It was my battery. You remember when I had the battery issue? Hold on, breaking.
All right, you guys, it's happening. It's happening. Everybody stay calm. After yesterday's episode where we went kind of for the jugular with Turning Point USA, because really I think everybody in the entire world has had enough with the non-response, trying to move on, trying to gaslight us, not answering basic details. So we just went for it. And guess what? Turning Point has moved to formally respond to all the things that we have said. And after a very long diatribe in which they wildly misrepresent the public and global investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination, they at long last issued a public invitation or challenge. I'm not sure what it is, but I accept. Okay? Quite literally, all we have ever asked for were sensible answers to our basic questions about what transpired on September 10th. And it looks like we're going to get those things. So major win. I am excited. Also, later on in the show, what I have for you is The Game, whose rapper is releasing a song that is entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens.
What?
And I have more questions. I've got questions. Am I allowed to have questions? Welcome back to
The Game. Oh my. Thank you, Mrs. Tom.
What can I say other than we went max? Pause, reflect. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of the world. Every single person who was in my inbox giving me tips, the people inside of Turning Point USA who were leaking, the donors that wrote public letters, the donors that didn't write public letters but sent us messages encouraging us to keep going. Today feels like a win because guess what? It forced Turning Point USA to finally respond, and that was the entire point, okay?
Oh, wow.
That has been the point of refusing to let up even 1 second in this investigation. They wanted to simply be able to eulogize Charlie Kirk at a big memorial event, and then they wanted us to simply move on. And we didn't do that, okay? So, yeah, we should celebrate the fact that we kept up the pressure, that we insisted that we have answers, that even in this tremendous culture of ADHD and everyone's constantly being distracted by their iPhones, that we kept the focus, okay? Turning Point is going to commit to a live streamed event.
Oh, now
they
that
are apparently going to answer all of these questions.
Now that I would not do. Oh, hell no. Her going to be like at a studio or a facility where they are. Oh, hell to the no. Hell to the no. to the no, no, no. No, sir. No, ma'am. So everything that they said that they gonna do, it will be done there. Red light. Somebody come with the blade splitter from top to the bottom, straight down the middle, guts on the table. Oh hell no. No, 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 no. Candace gonna do that. That's where you gonna have 5 minutes. Dougie Fresh your on. Doom, doom, on. Doom, doom, down. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, no, no, no. Everything that they said was gonna happen will happen. Why? They had not agreed to do nothing before. Oh, no. No, yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Oh, no. Where is her antennas? I don't know. Oh, I guess happy to hear that they... Oh, no. 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 Now, this... I do not agree upon. And I'm sure she looks at it as a victory, as a win, or... You know, she's forced their hand. This is when I would say they playing into you. They playing into you. Oh hell no! This gonna be another. That would be another Charlie Kirk. You playing right into they death trap. Death trap. Let's keep listening, but I'm gonna tell you now, I ain't for that at all. At all. No. You need to be on no. Red light. I remember everything they said. That man said. It ain't about this. Ain't about being fearless. It's one thing to be on your ground, your turf. It's another going on their turf. You can't control. You can have all the security if you want to. Didn't Charlie Kirk have security? Oh no, no, no.
And I would say these were pretty basic questions right out of the gates. Why they didn't do that right out of the gates, nobody knows. We can hear them, their explanation for why they didn't in just a moment, because they sent
she gotta be smarter
Blake
than
Neff
that.
out. Blake Neff, by the way, is the producer of the Charlie Kirk Show now. He is kind of the rotating talent of the Charlie Kirk Show. He was already featured with Charlie on the show, so that's not unusual. But I think we probably anticipated.
And we're
that
talking about millions of dollars, Denise.
USA spokesperson would have been the person to deliver this message. Maybe in theory that should have been his job. Maybe he's traveling. The point is, we got Blake Neff,
and they gonna have it on film.
Just to reiterate that I have always maintained that whatever is going on at Turning Point USA, I have not felt that Blake Neff is one of the bad guys, okay? I just have never gotten that particular vibe from him. I believe that when he speaks, he believes that he is telling the truth. And maybe that's why they want him in front of the camera. He's been the only person that has been responding in a way that feels even remotely authentic. When he defends the actions of Mikey McCoy on that day, I sense that he believes that he is...
Listen, it's not about being strong. I think I'm strong. And, you know, there are times that, you know, in real life, I think I'm strong. I think I'm friendly. But I also think that I have discernment. And I also think that I have... I think I have enough street cred to know that it ain't about strength, it ain't about smart, it's about common sense. So right now I'm not hearing or feeling the common sense, the common street sense. The common street sense, not just common sense, not just street, the common street sense, knowing your environment. No, I mean this is way beyond keeping your head on swivel, knowing what part of towns you can go to at certain times of the day and certain times of the night, knowing who knowing who you can have with you and who you can't. It's just a whole bunch of things that has to factor in with being strong. Yeah. Yeah. It's bigger than that. We got a special training. Yeah, you got to know these things. You got to know these things, and you should be able to feel certain things like, no. Okay, so here are my terms. You know, no, I'm not coming there. You know, so, you know, no, I want you to talk. I want to hear, because 9 times out of 10, what you going to tell me is still going to be straight up bull crap. So do I want to know it? Do I want to see your face? Do I need to hear it out of my own ears? Do I need to be able to look you in your, you know, how important are those things for me? You know, am I going to be able to get out alive? Yeah, your army, how big of an army am I going to need to have? Ain't nobody going to tell you how big your army needs to be. You know, am I going to be able to pick my own army? You know, is my army going to be willing to go and put themselves? It's a whole bunch of stuff that has to go in when you dealing with these type of foreign CIA, military. It's just, you know, it's just a whole bunch. You're going to have a big old army. And, yeah, I just don't know if her army is that big. Mama and grandmama didn't play like that. We was trained for real. Yeah, I just, you know, being right sometimes can really make you make some foolish decisions. It just takes control of your good senses sometimes. Yeah, just to be right. Just to be right. You know, I know how that goes. I've been told by a corporate CEO that I was politically astute because I was able to peep a whole bunch of stuff, you know, but yeah, how long are they going to keep you being politically astute where you're able to see all the manipulating and the deceit and the number changing and the, you know, the ins and outs, trying to connect them dots or doing the math when they don't want you to do the math. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Yeah, they know you know. They know you know. I just want, you know, her spirit to understand. They know you know. So don't fall into they trap. They know you know. And you got more than one hole you have dug. So be mindful. She has to be really, really, really mindful. You know, you got a hole in the U.S. You got a hole in France. You got a hole in Israel. You know, you got a couple of big holes, and they digging a big one for you. You got a Turning Point USA. You got President Trump. You got a bunch of holes that you have dug, and yes, they are all connected, but they're still individual holes. So right now, the hood in me is saying they trying to bait you, and they know that you are stubborn, and that, you know, you're a perfectionist, and you know, you have to be right. When you write, you write. When you write, you write. And you need for them to know that you are right. They know these things about you. So right now they are baiting. They are baiting in the same way, or if not the same way, even more intensely as they baited Charlie Kirk. They are baiting you because they know that you're on high alert, and they know that you are digging. You're digging. Yeah, no, that ain't good at all. Let's keep listening.
Telling the truth. Anyways, let's listen to what Blake Neff had to say in its entirety. It's not going to feel organic. Obviously, he's reading from a piece of paper. This has probably been reviewed 12 times by many different lawyers, because that's how it works at big organizations and companies. But I don't fault him that. We'll pause at certain moments because I do want to be able to respond throughout it. It's a bit long, but I want to give them my platform, as I always have made that offer to. So,
Natural in New Orleans. Thank you for the thumbs up and the high five.
You've tried this. I was not prepared for how good this smells. If you haven't.
Ever since Charlie's murder,
Candace
Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees.
Yes.
She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered.
She over here saying, y'all look at her.
Silent because
she is over here agreeing.
She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees.
Yes.
She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events.
Okay, so first and foremost, I actually never said that she helped plan the event. I said it was suspicious that Mikey McCoy's wife, that we never found out who did plan the event. That was one of the answers that we wanted to know. And I said that she works in events. Still was not clear on what happened regarding Mikey McCoy. I think the entire world believes that his actions are suspicious because we have eyes, and you don't get to wiggle out of that by pretending that us playing the words of his own father, Rob McCoy, who I think is highly suspicious in all of this. He has a suspicious background. We played his own words as he tried to sanitize someone who spent time in prison for being a sexual deviant, right? For trying to take photos of young girls. I don't think he's a good guy, and you're not going to make us forget those things because you are trying to pretend that Mikey's actions were totally normal that day. They weren't. That's why I didn't make the public feel that way, okay? I may have voiced how they felt, which everyone else is refusing to do, but I do believe that Mikey McCoy should have to answer for who he had on the phone right when the shot went off. So, yeah, his father, his own father, is the one that spoke about Charlie's notebooks and spoke about how Mikey McCoy was talented, and it was Mikey McCoy who then jumped on Liberty University's stage for an event that was scheduled for Charlie Kirk. So there you go. That's our perspective, and I'm going to stand by it. Let's keep it rolling.
Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual, and its details suggested a, quote, inside job.
It was unusual. That's a fact, and you can quote me on that because I worked for Turning Point USA, and I went on every tour since 2019, and typically those events are decided at least the semester before. This came together very quickly. It is unusual, and I don't know why you think that you are going to be able to disprove that notion when I have the emails to support that claim. Let's keep it rolling.
She has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erica Kirk around the country and that Turning Point has lied about this happening.
Definitely never said Turning Point lied because you never responded. So that doesn't actually make any sense, and this is why it's not good to have lawyers write things out, because sometimes they're not so detail-oriented. What we did was we showed at first that when I plotted these strange Egyptian jets that they were following Charlie, and that was a concern because I wondered if they were tracking Charlie. We then obviously realized that they were tracking TPUSA faith events, and that many more times they were following and perhaps tracking Erica. You should be concerned about that. We find it odd that rather than being concerned or trying to get answers to why a foreign military jet would be on the ground during a time when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you're upset with us for asking questions about these jets. Let's keep rolling.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened.
Nope.
That is not a quotation. That is just them saying that. So let's keep rolling.
She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died.
When you say suggested, it means that they are interpreting my words. What I said is another fact. They did not issue him first aid. When he fell down, there was nobody who pulled out any gauze and tried to stop the bleeding, and they've admitted to that. In a sit-down with Sean Ryan, Brian Harpole said it was because of the severity of the injury. I'm sorry, again, that we noticed something that stood out as unusual, given the expertise and the amount of money that he was paying that supposed to be an elite team. Let's keep rolling.
She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns.
Okay, so yes, the SD card thing is unbelievably suspicious. It's not something that you would do. Neither would you just run up onto a grassy knoll and record yourself. Again, these are unusual actions, and rather than trying to pretend like it's normal to record a selfie video of yourself and to prematurely announce that somebody is dead, maybe you should answer why all of that took place, because you guys told verifiable lies about why that took place. Because don't forget, Andrew Colvett sat next to you and said it was because people were stealing. People were stealing, you probably would want to grab the very expensive cameras and not the SD card for an event that was being live streamed. Regarding Tyler Boyer, I'm so glad we're going to do this live streamed because I'm happy to present to you the exact name of the intern, and I didn't say that he abused him. I didn't say it was not consensual. I said that he likes younger boys. I don't mean like younger as in they're not of the legal age. I'm just saying they're a lot younger than him. And yeah, I can give you the exact name of the intern that he hooked up with. That person was not at Turning Point USA, but I can also give you more than that, as well as people that are currently working for Turning Point USA who said that Tyler Boyer and these are young men tried to hook up with them after some events. So glad we're going to live stream that. Keep going.
She has suggested that TPUSA faith-affiliated pastors, like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy, are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans or because they have family members.
They haven't debunked her yet.
Yeah, so I do believe the Calvary Chapel, their history with Chuck Smith, the evidence that it was a militant CIA effort to infiltrate the Christian faith and to tie the Christian faith to the political ideology of Zionism. I think there's a lot of evidence for that, and I'm happy to discuss that in a broader debate. I do think that things at Turning Point USA became a bit problematic when you started to, I would say, almost hijack genuine Christian faith and sort of roll it into this idea that you must support Israel in order to be a Christian. That's kind of floating into more opinion, but I think well backed by the facts of the founding of the Calvary Chapel Church during the decade of the 60s, where the CIA was really just spiking the ball on Christians in general. Let's keep going.
Even if not everyone has been named specifically, though, Candace has effectively charged everyone here with complicity in Charlie's death by repeatedly saying he was, quote, betrayed by, quote, everyone.
Sorry, that was a dream that I had, and it is also a realization that it has been months. People at Turning Point USA are in possession of text messages the day before Charlie died, in which he wrote out to you, and not just to people that work at Turning Point USA, but also security guards, that he thought that they were going to kill him tomorrow, explicitly. I find it highly unusual that you wouldn't share that information at all, or that you would sit by and be quiet, or at some points attack people that are trying to explore who they is, because I don't think anybody believes that Charlie thought that a trans furry kid who had never been on UVU's campus
something
was
definitely
going to kill
went
him
on
tomorrow. And your silence during moments when people are lying, like Josh Hammer, when he said, hey, this never happened, Charlie never blinked on Israel, makes you all look very, very suspicious. Lies are only necessary, okay, when you are covering something.
Yeah,
and if
right.
you are covering the truth,
y'all double tap the face of the screen.
Charlie. So I stand by that. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
she has said Charlie's murder, quote, had to be approved by Charlie's friends, and then suggested those friends might have her murdered too for, quote, knowing the truth.
So you notice that's like a Snopes tactic. When he says the quote, it's actually not a full quotation. I never said that. Obviously, in the context that he put it in, that Charlie's friends, quote, had to know he was going to be murdered. Did I say the sentence, had to know he was going to be murdered? Perhaps, but we're going to need to hear the full sentence because you're trying to context it in a way that is just untrue. And I don't think it's necessary. If you're willing to have a conversation that you need to lie about anything that I've said, people have watched the show. They know exactly what I've said. And I tend to stand by what I've said. And I do stand by everything that I've said. Keep going.
She has made claims of financial impropriety and fraud at Turning Point.
Oh yeah, we've seen that.
Millions of dollars, which again is
seen
not
that.
true.
Oh, yeah,
Charlie made sure the organization was audited by a third party every year. He personally reviewed and he signed off on every expense report, and literally every single bill paid by the organization, down to a single United States dollar.
Well, why did he want to? Why did he say
a 990 deadline?
No?
Okay, so immorality, like financial impropriety, does not necessarily mean
nobody went to his aid.
Committed true financial
especially
fraud.
Mikey.
There's definitely
McCoy.
financial impropriety at the company. I would say that if you are representing yourself as a charity and what you're actually doing is evaporating millions of dollars into various LLCs that have your name on it, that would be financial impropriety, right? Like you could say, I'm a contractor on this LLC, on that LLC. I'm not doing anything illegal, but it's inappropriate, it's improper. Most people are not able to read those forms and won't understand what's happening to the $80 million. And I think that those questions are, of course, valid and that you guys should have no issues answering them. I am struck by the fact that you're still trying to conflate an annual audit with Charlie's explicit request to put together a Doge department 7 days
security
before he
gave
died.
hand signals.
These are not the same. You know they're not the same. I know they're not the same. Okay, everyone knows that Doge is not the same as the audits that are required for 501c3s, conducting an internal audit, and having you still misrepresent that makes us uncomfortable. Address the Doge. That's got nothing to do with anything other than Charlie, right? Charlie felt that this needed to happen, and inside sources at your own company say it was because he didn't know where the money was coming from or how quickly and where exactly the money was being evaporated to. That passes the vibe check in terms of what Doge is about, because, of course, Charlie could not have been establishing Doge for the last 5 years, because that's a very new concept as of 2025, something that Trump put into place with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, right? So, yeah, you're still being dishonest, but carry on.
You ever give someone a gift so good they forget to say thank you? I was this close to giving my dad a...
Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point, in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There is always something new coming up, and none of it ever pans out, because from the start, there has been nothing there.
Okay, so no matter how many times you keep pretending there's nothing there at the Egyptian planes, the whole internet understands that there's something there at the Egyptian planes, especially because you keep pretending like it's not weird. Like, you're just like, it's not weird. No, this is normal. It's totally fine that these Egyptian planes And also, by the way, today it broke that the Saudi king was on this plane at some point in 2023. We'll get to that later. And you guys are like, this is totally normal. This is just what happens at UVU. People just lay over into Wilmington,
she was
do
his,
things.
and she's been friends with him the longest.
You guys have got to stop the gaslighting if you think your organization is going to survive. I mean, some of that stuff is just untrue. Saying that I went after somebody for wearing a green hoodie is not
she
true
was
at
his
all.
friend the longest.
We covered the green hoodie
and,
people
she was
on
there
this
from
show.
the start.
I shared a picture
and they
when somebody
hate
asked.
That. They do hate that. They do hate that she knows ins and outs that they would rather her not know, that she knows the standard operating procedures because she was a part of creating them. Yeah. And they do know that she is politically astute. Yeah, I mean, she comes with receipts. He's just coming with a conversation. I mean, he's not proving anything. He's just making a statement. So yeah, she is, to me, she was his only friend. And they hate it.
For a picture because they were trying to investigate and identify everyone who was there, which is valid. And the person wearing the green hoodie was not even upset about it. He responded. So that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. And by the way, it would probably feel better to the public if you guys were the ones that were asking questions about who was there on that day. I completely stand by what I said about the people that are wearing maroon shirts. They are going to, I will guarantee you, represent a military unit somewhere. I'm very close to figuring out exactly which military unit that was. Again, trying to gaslight us and pretend we're conspiracy theorists or that that's stupid. Not a good long-term strategy for Turning Point USA. Carry on.
The attacks and allegations from Candace are either lies or they are innuendos thrown around with a total, reckless disregard for the truth, so that Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played. Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be. What our friends have had to endure is not funny, and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it.
Okay, conflating people
Absolutely,
that are trying to
lady. She's telling the truth.
is actually objectively funny. That's an unforced error.
And they know it.
Put that in the statement. Somebody in that room was like, should we say that? Should we not? And somebody said, no, we shouldn't say that. And then somebody else in the room said, no, we should. Let's keep it in. That second person was wrong. That should have been struck from the statement. It's very silly, okay? It's very silly to attack your own audiences who are concerned and your own donors who are concerned and say, you're Antifa if you don't accept this absurd Fed slop. If you're not going to drink the Fed slop, then you are Antifa. Just not a good idea whatsoever, okay? That is not what's happening here. You are not the victim. Charlie is, actually. He's dead. And to pretend like you are too aggrieved to be able to answer the questions makes entirely no sense. Obviously, if you were actually under a real amount of stress, if you actually were deeply upset that people had you on a list of suspects or thought that you were suspicious, you would just clarify things instantly, immediately. It's so easy. It's free. If someone said, Candace, what were you doing when Charlie Kirk was shot? I'd be like, I was sitting down at my table prepping my show. Like, the question doesn't offend me because I had nothing to do with Charlie dying, okay? This is a psychological technique that is failing. It is failing for you. And you're upset because you thought that with time, with the passage of time, people would let the story go, and they didn't. And these reasons that he's about to list for why they didn't respond and answer any questions are beyond ridiculous. Let's take a listen.
For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond. People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show. But for a long time, our approach was to say nothing. We did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is just, it's beneath contempt to respond to. The second reason we've said so little, though, is because there's a good rule of thumb, which Charlie followed. Do not feed the trolls. Focus on the mission. Reviving America, uplifting young people, making heaven crowded. Don't give air to people who want to tear you down and sow discord.
She's never tried to tear him down.
We didn't respond because Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and we were holding out hope that she would return that friendship and stop what she's doing.
And she is.
Okay, so the first thing he says there is we didn't respond because it's beneath us. Like, that's just not the right attitude. I mean, that is an elitist attitude. It is beneath us to respond to the very people who showed up in scores because they were so moved by Charlie's assassination that they all poured into the Staples Center, right? And poured their tears out and made videos and donated. It is beneath us to not to then respond to questions that you have that are meaningful. Because
Trump and the McCoys.
That you would suggest that the feds are involved in an assassination. That's never happened in American history. What?
Bibi Netanyahu.
So that's a ridiculous thing. The second thing he says there is Charlie always said, don't feed the trolls. Well, that flies into the face of what he says thereafter, where he says Candace and Charlie were friends. So I'm not a troll, okay? I'm not a troll. I'm not trolling. I'm not someone who's hated Turning Point and wanted Turning Point to fail. I'm actually the exact opposite of that. And that's why the people believe in me and they trust me, because they feel that I'm the only one that's acting right in this situation. Who wouldn't want to have every stone unturned if they cared about somebody? Who wouldn't want to have every question answered? Who wouldn't be immediately suspicious to see Egyptian military jets? Who wouldn't go, why the hell were these jets around?
Miss Tom, I made a mistake. Hold on. I was trying to hide that Funky Z person and messed around and got you by mistake. Hold on, let me fix this. Y'all say bye to Funky Z. Yeah. Yeah, now you play too much. I don't want you here no more. I don't want you here no more. Let me undo Mrs. Tom. Miss Tom, I'm sorry, I made an error. I was trying to get this FZ Funky Zebra. Yeah, you played too much. You played the wrong hand. Yeah. Now get your ass up out of here. You played too much. We grown over here. Yeah, you need to read the room. You didn't. Yeah. So you out. Ooh. Say, Miss Toms, you back? I made the mistake, Precious. I was trying to get him. He was right next to you. Yeah, I was trying to get him, and I think it moved up. He out of here. He out of here. And you made me hit Miss Tom. Oh yeah, you gotta go. You out of here. You out of here. But while I'm here, let me see what you look like. I bet you ain't no but an old funky face troll. No pay. Of course. Yeah. People can always talk that shit when they ain't nothing but a funky face troll. That's all it is a troll. Probably a new page. Probably somebody I done put out before. You know I'm here. I'm finna see. Let's see how long they done had that. Oh, it said 2014. Oh, okay. Well, you out of here for good. Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, troll on. Troll on. Yeah, troll on. Troll on. Absolutely. Get your ass up out of here. Okay, let me get back. I had to go behind the screens. I had to go behind the screen to get him. Yeah, get that ass up out of here. Sorry, Miss Tom. Yeah, let me go back. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. As we were. Let's go.
For Charlie's assassination. Who is on these jets? Instead, you're mentioning the Egyptian planes for the fourth time, so I would like to recommit everybody that is watching this to figuring out what the hell's going on with these Egyptian planes because they're nervous about them, okay? They're mentioning so many times, they're trying to give the vibe that this is so crazy. No, they are fearful. The Egyptian planes hold the key, and that is obvious even in Blake Neff's statement. But yeah, I am not a troll, okay? And people followed what felt to them as authenticity. And it was not
well, we just had one.
These Egyptian planes because they're nervous about them, okay? They're mentioning.
Let me go back.
And go, why the hell were these jets around Turning Point way before, years before Charlie's assassination? Who is on these jets? Instead, you're mentioning the Egyptian planes for the fourth time, so I would like to recommit everybody that is watching this to figuring out what the hell's going on with these Egyptian planes because they're nervous about them, okay? They're mentioning so many times, they're trying to give the vibe that this is so crazy. No, they are fearful. The Egyptian planes hold the key, and that is obvious even in Blake Neff's statement.
Hey, Jody.
But yeah, I am not a troll, okay? And people followed what felt to them as authenticity, and it was not you. They were not getting that from Charlie's closest friends. Why is that? They weren't getting that from Charlie's most loved pastors. Why is that? Don't blame me for the bad energy that you exuded.
Oh,
okay?
Lord.
Don't blame.
I done messed with it so many times. It's off. Don't.
Offering. You were offering we should accept this and move on, and I was saying we need to investigate. The free market saw what you were offering, right?
Oh, and no. Hold on. Hold on. Let me refresh. I don't. Yeah. He tried to come in and play.
People followed what felt to them as authenticity, and it was not you. They were not getting that from Charlie's closest friends.
Sure was
Why
not.
is that? They weren't getting that from Charlie's most
friends.
loved pastors. Why is that?
McCoy,
don't blame
please.
me for the bad energy that you exuded, okay? Don't blame me for the fact that you didn't pass the gut check with the public. That's why you're doing this, okay? That is why you are doing this, because your strategy failed. In fact, this is your old school turning point before they put on the faith pants. This is your old school turning point lesson in what the free markets are. The free market saw what you were offering, right? And they saw what I was offering. You were offering we should accept this and move on, and I was saying we need to investigate this, and the free markets said no to Turning Point USA. Anyways, let him take this away in terms of what he thought, I guess, was the best way to be a friend to Charlie Kirk. What did he think was the best way for them to show that they were friends with Charlie Kirk? Keep going, Blake.
But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder. Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friends, and she continues to concoct new ones about new people. She's using these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country.
I have to applaud that audacity. I have to applaud it. You do. You have to applaud it. These, excuse me here, but like, I'm trying not to swear.
Cuss they monkey asses out. These motherfuckers.
Company, these
MOs
lads over here have the audacity to accuse me of enriching myself when they were out there selling T-shirts, okay, of what Charlie died in.
Oh yeah, he's the spokesman. Yeah,
T-shirts away for free at the Staples Centers. No, they were selling kit of what Charlie died in to the tune of $80 million plus that they made in the first 3 weeks. Okay, they made their entire budget for the year in the first couple of weeks following Charlie's assassination, and they are attacking me with zero proof that I made a single dollar off of Charlie's assassination. I did not sell a cup. I did not sell a mug. Okay, all I did was do what I already do for a living. Okay, I podcast and I investigate things. I investigate things that I feel passionate about. Sometimes it's Kamala's genealogy, when she's saying she wants to be the president and things aren't making sense, and I sense that she is lying. Sometimes it's Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, when they tried to destroy a man's life who's not even on my quote-unquote political team. Sometimes it's Brigitte, and why we are colluding with nations to cover the obvious fact that Brigitte was born a male. And this time, it's personal, and it's you. Do you want to know what all of these investigations have in common? Liars who lie and think that the public is too stupid to see through their lies. That is how we got into this, okay? I did not sell anything. You did that. You guys did that. You guys continued to do that. You guys wanted to just move on and to grift off of Charlie's legacy. I dedicated myself to figuring out who murdered him. So, anyways, he does get to the point here, which is that they are willing to finally address things head on. So I will let Blake say that.
And far too often, we here have heard from ordinary people, people who loved Charlie and who Charlie loved so much in return. These people have expressed the worry that we are staying silent out of cowardice or as some sort of tacit admission that some of the attacks are true. Neither is the case. Our silence has never been, and it will never be, equal to complacency or approval. Still, we decided Charlie would not allow this to go on. Charlie was not a coward. Charlie was a fighter. Charlie would not allow someone to spread lies about the people closest to him with impunity. And he would feel ashamed if other people were stepping up to defend his friends while he never did so himself. Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If
yeah,
Candace
we can do a live stream.
We would sincerely welcome her participation
Turning Point
in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life.
You smell bug?
I feel it immensely.
You smell bug crap. Mm-hmm.
And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future.
Yay! Finally! You didn't have to get through all that shade that you were throwing me to get to the point that you were willing to answer questions, okay? Because that's what Charlie did for a living. How could you guys think that you were just going to continue on and pretend like people asking meaningful questions was somehow an attack? That's what he did for a living. He stood up on college campuses and he debated people. And he sat there principally and debated people.
They know they can't out-debate this woman.
He had the moral high ground, okay? And that if those people disagreed with him, he could bring them over to his side. You guys have been actually acting and embodying the opposite of Charlie Kirk's spirit. Okay, and you did it even in this. It was like one big character assassination, and it wasn't to me. That's what you guys don't understand. You're not attacking me. You are attacking millions of people around the world who watched a man, an innocent man, be publicly executed.
Well, they're not.
And then watched
they
what
are.
felt
They're Zionists.
like this.
They're not Christians. They are pro-Israel, so they are Zionists. They are totally opposite of Christians. They're just using the term Christian Zionists because they're trying to bait Christians and convert them into non-believers in Christ by acting like pro-Israel is biblical, and it's not. It is a disguise. Yes, they are not Christians. Absolutely are not Christians. Yeah, but they just want to throw around the word Christian to throw off Christians, to confuse Christians, while they play in Christians' faces and manipulate them and convert them into non-believers, which, you know, is what was going on with Candace and Charlie Kirk. I mean, because they was going hard. They was going hard for the cause. Yeah, and then the light bulb came on. Then the light came on. The light came on. This is not of Christ. This is why I say I'm here, because Charlie Kirk said that he was a devout Christian. He hated black people. He hated foreigners, immigrants. You know, he hated everything that Christ stood for. And the nail in the coffin is when he said empathy was made up, and that he felt like it was people making excuses. There's no way you can say empathy is made up. There's no way for you that he said that he had no respect for empathy, and that is what exposed him. For me, there's no way he could be a Christian, a true Christian, a believer in Jesus Christ, saying things like that. Now, did he come around once his light bulb came on and he started seeing some things? Yeah, it appears that it did. But once I heard that, that was my red flag. That what type of Christians are this? What is this? What is this? What? Why they acting like the world just stood still? Who is this guy? Wait, what? And it was because of that empathy that he did not have. On top of all that other stuff. But that empathy is a clear reflection of Jesus Christ. So yeah, no, they're not Christians. They are deceivers that have tried to rewrite rewrite the Bible with the Schofield Bible, and try to make it seem like this genocide is God's word, his will, his way. No, it's not. No, it is not. They are settlers. They are fake Jews. They are not Jewish. They're not. And they're not fighting for native land. They're not natives. He is from Poland. Trump is not an original Jew. So they are playing. But carry on. No. And they are not fighting over land of two brothers, Esau and Jacob, the original Israel. And this Israel that they're talking about was created by the Rothschilds in 1948. So we know that it is not what Christ was in the Bible. But they are misleading. They are sacrificing. They are, in their religion, they do grape kids, girls, boys, females, men. They do blackmail. Everything that Trump and Epstein has been doing for years is a part of their cult that was created by the Rothschilds. Yeah, let's go.
State collude to feed us absolute horseshit about what took place on that day.
Poopy pants.
30-06 bullets do not get stopped by human necks because they eat healthy. They don't. And yes, you guys are a part of that apparatus of people who made us feel, who expressed it here, like you were too good to answer questions. We are already said, I got on stage.
How can we disrespect empathy and Christ coming out of his comfort, out of his perfect peace, sees the world as it was. Wow. There was no redemption of sin. None. There was no hope. You were born in a world of sin. You had the sin seed in you at the time of birth. Sacrifice himself. He saw empathy. His vision, what he saw, was the first indication of empathy. So to say that you don't respect empathy, that you think it's made up, means that you don't believe in Christ and you believe that Christ is made up, because Christ is empathy, the ultimate sacrifice. How dare you? How dare you? Wait a minute. Again, that's when it became, oh, wait a minute. Ultimate sacrifice came from empathy. He didn't have to do it. He put himself in our shoes, because there was no way for us to get out of sin. So he came, not for himself, but for us. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you say that you don't respect empathy and that you don't think that it was made up? What Christ did for empathy, you would not even do for yourself. You would not hang on a cross for yourself, let alone someone else. Especially if you didn't have to. And you don't respect empathy? Yeah, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. I don't care what you say with your mouth. In one regards, it's what you said out your mouth in the other regards. Yeah, you said you didn't respect empathy. Yeah, you said that you didn't respect immigrants. And when you go to look into empathy, it talks about all of that. Yeah, and when he says that you take care of foreigners, that is immigrants. So everything that y'all, what they were doing or is doing, is opposite of Christ. So there's not one Christian who should be okay with it. Not one. Not one. to come up with excuses as to why it's okay. Yeah, that's totally against Christ. You need to check your heart. You got a heart condition. Something ain't right. Should they have came over? No, they should not have. But they made it. So Christ said you take care of the foreigners and widows. And definitely don't bring harm to the kids. Blessed are the children. Yeah, now, y'all all out of order. And when you justify it, you are justifying evil. And if you're justifying evil, you're justifying Satan. And you may need to do like Charlie, Kirk, and Candace did before it's too late, and get your life right with Christ, baby. You better turn it around. You better have a renewing of the mind. You better ask God to let your little light come on, so you can see the light and come out of the darkness. You got to come out of darkness. You better move to the light before it's too late. Yeah. And thank God, it appears that he did. He denounced pro-Israel. And to denounce pro-Israel was denouncing Zionists. So thank God he did it in the nick of time. Thank God he did it in the nick of time. Let's go.
And I told you that I'm Charlie's pastor. I told you I'm his best friend. I told you, you guys have even allowed people to inject themselves into his legacy that Charlie didn't even like. And we're supposed to believe you're doing this because you're his friend? Because you're committed to truth? You sat there and allowed the very people who pressured Charlie
we are healed. You are right.
towards the end of his life to try to claim his whole legacy? And you're pretending we are the ones that are immoral? You're upset because you got caught lying. You're upset because you got caught with your pants down, but you cannot blame me for that, okay? Pants down, baby. Did you see Trump trying to pull down Bubba's pants? Oh, that ain't what you're talking about? Oh, my bad. I just heard pants down, baby. And the way we saw Trump the Dump trying to pull down Bubbles, baby, trying to get to that pickle, baby. It's Picklegate. I'm sorry. Oh, you want to finish your point, Candace? Okay, girl, I'm sorry. My bad. I'll back it up a little bit. But when I heard pants down, got caught with the pants down, baby, I thought about old Picklegate. Let's go. Towards the end of his life to try to claim his whole legacy? And you're pretending we are the ones that are immoral? You're upset because you got caught lying. You're upset because you got caught with your pants down, but you cannot blame me for that, okay? These were your own errors. These were your own lies. And I was not going for a single second to let up on the pressure. In fact, I have been so strategic that I have been holding on to certain information, hoping that you would acquiesce to have a public conversation, because I want to look you in the eye. Oh, dang, my bad. I stopped and messed it up again. God dang. Talking about pants being pulled down. Lord. Next day, okay? The day that he died, Charlie knew, said he thinks he was going to be killed tomorrow, and you guys are sitting on that information. So I'm the right person, yeah? I'm the right person to... Oh, she said, oh, yeah, you gonna learn today. I am her. Yeah, you gonna learn today. Let me see if I can get it closed, boy, but I ain't gonna stop no more unless I have to. Believe that because you are not forthcoming about the information that you have, about Charlie texting you guys and saying that he thought he was going to be assassinated that very next day. There's an email. And the day he died, Charlie knew, said he thinks he was going to be killed tomorrow, and you guys are sitting on that information. So I'm the right person. Wow. Yeah, I'm the right person to question you and to ask you questions, right? Some things that you told me on that day, they're not adding up. I think the entire world would like to see this discussion. I think you can do it in Charlie's honor. I'll sit there. You pick a place and time. We could have done this today, by the way. No, you ain't going nowhere, boo-boo. No. You ain't picking no place or time. Sister Sally. Slow your roll, boo-boo. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. We are not signing up for that. You are not going. Put your hand down. Talking about a place and time. You got your hand all up like what? Like what? Like what? Like no, ma'am. Let me show the people. No, ma'am. Talking about pick a place or time. You got your hand up like when? Like what? Like what? No, ma'am. Put your hand down. You can't go nowhere. You're not meeting them. They are devil worshipers. No, put your hand down, girl. No, ma'am. Don't be calling nobody to the... No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Trying to call somebody like what? Like what? God told him the other day that you has a Shanae up in there. Shanae. Put your hand down, girl. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Talking about pick a date and time. Like what? Like what? Like, yeah, I'm the one. I'm the one. Girl, you better put your little ghetto, prim and proper ghetto butt down. Sit down. Sit your ass down. Yeah. No, ma'am. Talking about date and time, and then put your hand up like what? What? Yeah. Like, I'm supposed to be scared. Like what? We can meet. When? Stay in the house. Stay in the house.
And at the end of that, she gonna roll her eyes. You know how we do, like, you know, girl, simmer down. Simmer down. Hi, Tanya. Please stay. Yeah, you know, shit. I was giggling, but I caught it real quick. No, ma'am. It's a no for us. We not no. Hell to the no. Yeah. No, ma'am. Put your hand down.
Okay.
I had to get you rolling your eyes. Yeah. You know, like, you know, AunTeaFee pop. I can't get it now when I want it, but you know what I'm trying to do. Pop. Do a pop. Cause I. Yeah. Baby, it don't matter how prim and proper, how far away from the hood we go, we can cut with our mouth and our eyes. Okay.
We all have tech. We could have done a live stream. We could schedule a live stream. We can raise money for Turning Point USA if you promise to answer every question that I have, okay? And it's not hard. It's not difficult if you are telling the truth to answer questions.
She acting like LaQuita finna come out.
So much, and you're upset at the inquiry, and you're playing this game like you're David Hogg, and I survived Parkland, so how dare you question my authority on anything? Not a good long-term strategy. It's not going to be effective long-term, and I think you're learning that lesson because 3 months on, with that's that mainstream media on your side,
nigga, please.
And attacking me, which you guys didn't even stand up for me when you knew they were lying about me. You stayed mum. That in and of itself, you should be ashamed of. You should be ashamed to sit across from people who did everything they could to stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them, and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're gonna find out. You can pick the place, you can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it. With whistles and bells, everything, I fully accept. I say, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. And my only ground rule is no assassinations. Okay? No assassinations, no funny business. You can't pretend you're going to do it and then Candace died in a mysterious accident, okay?
Oh my God.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Planning to publish your book?
Baby, I ain't gonna even lie. Did y'all catch that?
Could reach 3 billion more readers if you've written a book.
All right, you guys, this holiday
Don't, you know, all I say is don't plan an assassination. Don't try to kill me on the cool. I mean, don't, you know. Yeah, your little dog's off. Yeah. No tricky business. Don't try to remove me. Yeah, because you're about to be exposed. Because you know I'm finna eat your ass up. Yeah, nigga. That was for you. That was for you. Big L. Wasn't that gangster? Baby, that was so gangster. And she looked with that little smirk. Yeah. Yeah.
I had a mysterious accident, okay? We'll be right back. She has a hook in the water. Yeah. Yeah. That was cold. That was cold. I don't even know where that was. I gotta get back there. Yes, indeed. Anything I fully accept. I say let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. And my only ground rule
Let's go.
is no assassinations. Okay? No assassinations, no funny business. You can't pretend you're gonna do it and then Candace died in a mysterious accident, okay? We'll be right back after a quick break.
Did she kind of throw her little nose
This
up
holiday
like?
season, you can express your love with a very special gift of premium steaks from Riverbend Ranch. Their holiday bundles are only available while supplies last, and they are going to go fast.
Woo, baby, listen, I hate to say I like Candace. I ain't gonna even lie.
Cancel a family trip or miss work.
Yeah, I like her.
All right, you guys, let's get into some stories. I'm laughing at the live chat right now. They really think Turning Point's going to kill me. Like, don't go in person. It's a setup. It's a trap. Guys, I think that they would kind of figure that they would be blamed for that. I think we're okay there. But let's start with the Pentagon.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, what about them other people that's on board with them? Yeah. So they would have their alibi, little girl. Now hold your horses. You can't go where they are. No, they don't care about being blamed for it. They have the everybody on their side. Let's be smart about it. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the baby. Woo! That was just so gangster. Oh my God. The scandal, Olivia Pope, that was so Olivia Pope. Is that her name? Oh my God. Shout out to Candace. God dang, I know they hate her. I know they hate this itch. That was so scandal and scandalous and intentional. Yeah. Yeah. Lord, this is, oh my God.
The United States Pentagon, in case you don't know, is the complex that houses our Department of Defense. It's a massive complex, right? There is arguably no more relevant building to communicating to the American people about foreign threats. That's what they do. It's quite literally the nerve center of the United States Armed Forces. It's the headquarters for the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And recently, because the American government wants the world to no longer take us seriously as a nation or something, they decided to undergo a quote-unquote press corps makeover, ostensibly to let in new, independent, more trusted journalists. And some of them are, okay, James O'Keefe, obviously, formerly of Project Veritas, he's very much trusted. Matt Gaetz, I like him very much. But some of the people that they let in are almost the exact opposite of trustworthy and are just radically pro-Zionist. Like, they will lie, steal, cheat, and figuratively murder, I guess literally allow Israel to murder without asking any questions. And so that's why they're being let in. Most notably, obviously, Laura Loomer. She's totally nutty. And I don't say that in a way of like, it's an ad hominem attack. I mean, like, she has psychotic issues. Allowing Laura Loomer into a national defense complex is actually sort of just an indication to just how committed they are to laundering the reputations of anyone, as long as they say, I support Israel. Because Laura Loomer is quite literally so deranged that she once handcuffed herself to the Twitter headquarters because they banned her account, okay? That's like, and she wore the yellow Star of David. When I met her, she was crying tears because they took away her check mark. She deeply, deeply cares about social media in a way that is just unhinged, okay? Now, she is apparently not allowed to own a gun because of various psychotic events that required her hospitalization, but due to her commitment to Zionism, which in a Zionist defense seems like a psychopathology is a prerequisite, the media is now trying to mainstream her and make us think that she's like a serious person. So our government, the Pentagon, decided to credential her at this time. She's a part of the new press corps that we can trust. Laura has probably been one of the more prominent gaslighters when it comes to Charlie Kirk's assassination. She hated Charlie when he was alive and now wants everyone to honor him by not prodding the narrative surrounding his death. Literally a couple of weeks before he died, she called Charlie a charlatan, a political opportunist, that he wasn't pro-Trump, simply because he hosted Dave Smith, who is anti-Zionist, he is also Jewish, for a debate with Josh Hammer, who's a radical Zionist like herself, at one of his events. Charlie believed in free speech and he believed in debate, and so that was her reason for attacking him. briefly showing you this tweet from her. Not even worth reading in its entirety, but this is the tweet that she sent out. And then Charlie died a couple of weeks later, and she completely switched and now thinks that she's guarding his legacy. Anyways, she was beside herself with glee this morning, sharing news that another Zionist influencer named Cam Higby, who has also now been credentialed by the Pentagon, decided to ask the perhaps billion-dollar question to the Pentagon's press secretary, a young woman named Kingsley Wilson, about the foreign angle of Charlie's assassination. Now, I obviously reported that the French Foreign Legion were apparently on the ground on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So here is Cam Higby, who I guess is playing dress up as a reporter, asking the Pentagon's press secretary a question about the most viral story for about a week pertaining to France's participation in the biggest political assassination that has taken place since JFK, I would say. I think that's fair. Here's our new press corps, guys. Take a listen to, actually first, let's focus in on Cam Higby's question. The way he asks it is, I think, worthy of highlighting. Take a listen.
Absolutely. I'm Kingsley Wilson. I'm the press secretary here at the Pentagon. We're in the Pentagon briefing room. And it's been fantastic. Get to come to the Pentagon every day, and now you all do it as well.
Yeah. So this is my first question, and don't laugh. Does the DOW have any evidence at all of a French military plot to assassinate Candace Owens?
PSA for anyone who used drugs collecting dust after the canning season. Every home preserver I know is obsessed with this.
Okay, here's my first question.
Here's my first question.
Like two girls getting their nails done. Okay, let me ask. We're like a sleepover. Okay. I have to tell you. Don't laugh. Is this supposed to make us think that this is not propaganda? Are we going, this is cool? Is this the new strategy? All the cool kids don't even ask the feds questions. All the cool kids just get in line and do whatever they say. All the cool kids just think it's beyond crazy to consider that the state would assassinate people, even though that's what we do. That's what the CIA does. We just murder people around the world. But that's crazy talk. And so they're going to make it's like too cool to even answer. Take it away, Kingsley.
That is an interesting question. Not that I'm aware of, but, interesting question. I can try to find out and maybe let you know. I think that might be more of a law enforcement matter, though.
No, I think actually the Department of Defense, this would be a big matter for you guys to take up, of whether or not foreign governments are plotting assassinations of American citizens. Feels like this might be the right department to me, and I'm not laughing. So when I say to you guys, when I stress to you guys that you should not be signing up for war, you should not be signing up for the military, you should not get involved in this obvious war that they are planning that's coming soon. Mm-hmm. This exact moment between these two people is what I'm referring to. It's like a rare glimpse into the elitist perspective of our government. Like, our job, I guess, is to work and to deposit money so that they can build themselves complexes like the Pentagon, which is a 6.5 million square foot residence, office building, okay? It is the second largest office building in the world, 6.5 million square feet. And they built it with our money so that we could have some sort of an illusion of being protected by our government. Like, we could actually call them and say, hey, I have very specific information and accounts that you can trace, because the president France allegedly paid $1.5 million for my assassination. And by the way, I have evidence they had French Foreign Legion on the ground on the day that Charlie got assassinated. They're not going to respond to that, right? But that's all supposed to be an illusion. When it comes down to it, getting that credible evidence after a televised event, essentially a televised event of a public execution, LOL. Get back to work, slaves. We're trying not to laugh at you questioning whether or not a 30-06 can be magically stopped by a human neck. How dare you ask any questions or speak to us about states coordinating assassinations? And are you guys still talking about the Epstein files? That's the attitude. They think this is good PR. Like the Zionist accounts are sharing this, and they're going, LOL. I don't know that the American government has ever been more, I don't know if they've ever been more out of touch with the American people than to see this as they're like, send it around the press, haha. The Pentagon is laughing at foreign assassination. They don't take anything seriously. Yeah, we just watched Trump get shot at and his ear clipped. We just watched another person try to assassinate Trump on the golf field, and then we watched Charlie Kirk die publicly. But LOL, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. That's not what we're here for. Get to work, slaves. Again, there's no left or right. It's just the elites. It's the media apparatus that protects those elites, and then the rest of us who are supposed to be slaves, okay? The elites own everything. They own everyone. And if somebody actually breaks free, right? If they have an individual in the matrix who creates something that they cannot
she had to come to terms
or buy,
that they really were
there are only a couple of
they were
options for that
slaves and they didn't
individual, okay?
realize
The state responds and they say, we will destroy you reputationally. We will call you crazy, go after your reputation, make up allegations against you. We will bankrupt you. We will imprison you, or we will kill you. That's the reality of the world that we live in, okay? We don't live in a meritocracy. It's not a free nation. They have to be able to control you. And the timing of me speaking about this is so perfect because this article
if they can't control you, they're going to blackmail you.
This is the headline. Inside the economics of Candace Owens' media empire and the Macron lawsuit threatening to unravel it. They went with this, like they're proud of this. Like a lawsuit can unravel. What they're calling an empire is actually just a mom from home who got fired and rejected from literally nations. They tried to destroy me last year. They took everything. They just tried to destroy my reputation, tried to break my friendships, and I survived, okay? And that angers them. And so this article is written with such elitism, the hope that the state will step in and just break it, just bankrupt it. This is an actual quotation. The lawsuit, it reads, the lawsuit is set to test whether the controversy as currency that made Owens rich and gave her a media brand that reaches tens of millions of people can survive what experts say will be an immensely costly legal battle. Yeah, we're gonna bankrupt Candace Owens. That is our intent. The experts are saying that we can do it because we can't control her. She wouldn't sell out, not to the military complex that we live in, not to big companies, not to corporations. She wouldn't turn the eye when Palestinians were being genocided by Israel. And we have no other options. We're running out of options here. So we've got to kill her or we've got to bankrupt her. And we're signaling that we're going to bankrupt her. That's how this thing works. For telling the truth, by the way. That's why I'm being sued. And they're not lying. Thus far, in the Brigitte Macron lawsuit, we have paid over $250,000 and we haven't even had our first day in court. Okay? That's the matrix. That is the matrix. And I will, again, assert to these people, I will never bow the knee to evil. I will never bow bend the knee, rather, to people that harm children. You will never see me bend the knee to that, ever. Bankrupt me if that is what makes you feel good. Because at the end of the day, it feels like we are existing in a time where you are only catalyzing your own demise. Like people have never been more awake and more in tune. And the focus on Charlie Kirk's assassination proves that. You couldn't make that go away. Speaking of which, Charlie Kirk, whose death is exposing this matrix in ways that I do not even think that we can fully comprehend in this moment just yet. We asked the question and we can't find the answer as to where Brigitte Macron was on the dates the Egyptian plane was flying around America. It's just like a 6-day gap in Brigitte's schedule. And now, of course, especially as we have learned about Delaware and the DuPont French connection and the French Foreign Legion non-answer that we're getting, just gaslighting that we are getting, it feels like an even more relevant and rational question to be asking, and somehow made even more interesting. Now that we know, or that we've learned, and thanks to the internet sleuths and the YouTubers that put this together, that an hour and a half before Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah, Donald Trump and Emmanuel Macron had a phone call that has been recorded in Emmanuel Macron's public calendar, which has been released. You can see that he had the phone call with Donald Trump at this would be 6:45, obviously, p.m. in French time. That's 10:45 a.m. in Utah time. 10:45 a.m. Utah time is when they had this phone call. And look, that could be nothing. There's a lot going on in the world, obviously. And we also know that there's been a lot of discussion about Ukraine, and there's a million reasons that Emmanuel Macron and him could have had that poorly timed phone call. But it would be great if a press member could not LOL and say what was the nature of the phone call, just so that we know, right? These are questions I think it's fair for us to ask with everything that's coming out and the lack of a true response that we're getting from anyone that has the means to answer these questions. Anyways, you guys, we're almost at overtime here, but in other assassination news, I wanted to mention to you that The Game, who is a hip-hop rapper, is releasing an album, and he has a song on his track list in this upcoming album that's entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens. I'm having like the best year ever or something. I don't know. Why The Game? Why is it gotta be song number 13? What's going on? This better not be predictive, okay? We know how Hollywood gets down, okay? We're reading your books. Anyways, asked this question, this exact question, why? And he gave an answer, and here's what The Game had to say.
At Shane Company, we're all about you. We'll help you create the dream engagement ring you can't stop looking at. Are you classic, modern, vintage, or something in between? All of our beautifully crafted styles are dreamt up in-house by our design team. So your ring is guaranteed to be as unique as your love story. We have so much style under one roof because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
So you got this new mixtape dropping, and then there's this like one track called The Assassination of Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Why that title?
Because recently I've been seeing like conspiracy theories, about Candace Owens, from herself, self-admitted. She feels like people are conspiring her, and so what it was is more so an assassination of the character. So I just used that because it was like current news, but it's not. The song is not about Candace.
Oh, okay. So it's just a little bit deeper than okay.
Yeah, I'm a rapper. We use metaphors,
Okay, but are you worried about Candace coming for you about this? I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about Candace. But then again, you got to hear the song.
Okay, so she'll understand if she hears the song, maybe.
I mean, the thing is, she said that people were trying to assassinate her. So all I did was say it too. You know what I'm saying? So again, the song is not about her, but Candace Owens, man, she real smart, really intelligent woman. But if she comes for me, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. There's beef in these streets, okay? There's beef in these streets, and you better be scared because maybe I am coming for you, okay? I could be coming for you. I might drop a whole album. I might drop a whole mixtape too, okay? Anyways, I think it is a form of flattery. Obviously, I'm friends with Ye, and he makes music, and they do use a lot of metaphors, so I'm not offended by this. Do I love the timing? Could I get a break for 6 months, maybe, and not have that title be there? Sure, but I'm totally okay with this. I think it's kind of cool. I actually kind of think it's cool. I hope the song lyrics are cool, and it's not a diss track. And it's not going to be like Eminem crying at me on a whole album, but I look forward to the song. I hope you feel free to use a little audio from the podcast. That would be cool. You could use a strip of me saying something. Everything is fake and gay would be super fly. Everything is fake and gay. Please put that in the song. That's my own request. All right, you guys, we'll get through a couple more sponsors, and I will answer some
that's
comments.
cool. That's what's up.
Okay, what if you could delay your next mortgage pay?
Find the humor in it.
Check out. I mean, look, I'm obviously The Game's muse. I don't think that's a stretch. I'm obviously The Game's muse. I'm his muse for this upcoming album, so that is now a fact. And I had a lot of muses for my book, which is finally out, Make Him a Sandwich. You guys can get that on Amazon. People have been asking about international shipping. If you go to makehimasandwich.com, your name, Game gonna recognize Game. I think that's fair. Game gonna recognize. They have a tremendous amount of power. I meant from yesterday's episode, someone writes, the worst part of being awake is realizing there are way more evil people on this planet than I ever thought possible. I actually don't think there's more.
Yeah, but when you becomes awake, it's a rude awakening.
Control over the military, and I think that power will wane if we stop subjecting ourselves to their systems, their financial
I
systems,
agree,
their
Jody.
peer pressure systems, Hollywood, the adoration that we had for stars, and we
I just
followed their
think that
trends.
people have
and if we
reached out to
actually
her
studied where it all came
that
from,
we
which
don't
is
know anything
incredibly
about to
evil
let her know
indoctrination,
that they
quite
support
literally
her.
doctrines of evil, which is guiding that movement, it's guiding that theology, rather. I spoke
It's
about
all
it more
about
at
that
length
balance.
with Russell Brand.
It's all about that
on
balance.
his show,
You gotta
so
have
that
balance.
should be coming out soon. But we have to become educated about where it stems from. There's less of them, but they have a lot of power and they have a lot of influence, and they have blackmailed people that are in powerful positions. There's definitively more of us. That's why they want to kill us. Obviously, that's why they want to drug us and keep us dumb. Is because the numbers are not on their side. So we have to make sure it's not just the numbers, but also that the ideology is not on their side. The answer to people that want less families, not because they want you to be more efficient and to climb the corporate ladder, they just want less of you. There needs to be less slaves if you want to maintain control and you don't want the risk of a revolution to come down upon you. That's the true answer, is that's why they promote all of these things. That's why they want people to have less children, is because they want to increase their numbers while decreasing ours. And so we need to be radical about not also giving our children to the system. If you can, and you absolutely can, homeschool your children, pull them out of the system. Don't send your kids to college. Usury is another one of their tactics. Don't rack up debt. I made that mistake and learned nothing. It's just more time for them to indoctrinate your children. Be bold in changing the system. Be radical in your response of taking ownership over your own home. That's what I would say in response to that. Goodness wins. Goodness wins. In truth, Christ has already won. More comments from today. Meryl writes, careful, Candace. They may be betting that you won't be available for a sit-down the next few weeks. Also, watch your sources. Sometimes the feds plant sources with almost good information in order to humiliate their target later. Yes, I'm very aware of that, and we are very cautious about our sources, and sometimes that has happened and we haven't gone, fortunately we haven't made a public mistake, but we'll keep going, and then I'll be like, I think this is good, and then Mark will be like, I don't know about this, or Skylar will be like, I don't know about this, and that is what takes us so much time every day. Is we're a small team, but we're constantly having to debate ourselves before we put something out. So thank you for that. Briley writes, they didn't answer any of your questions. They only brought up speculations that you made throughout the series. I hope you don't go there in person for your own safety. It is so sad that we have reached a time where you guys are legitimately concerned about my safety, and I get that. I feel like there is definitely something military that happened when Charlie got assassinated, and I think our lack of comfort comes from perhaps their refusal to acknowledge that. I think their response is what makes you guys feel fearful, but truly I don't think Turning Point USA is so silly and stupid that they would coordinate an assassination on their campus and then think they're going to be like, that just happened. It was all weird. She ate a bad sandwich or something. But it is sad. It really is a marker of the times that we live in, that you guys truly feel this way. Angie Lynn writes, TPUSA will lie about everything, as they have been doing. Do not trust this for 1 second. You and your family's safety, money, everything is compromised. Team Candace, Christ is King. James Gray writes, the TPUSA response seemed fake, calculated, scared. That guy's body language was just completely off, and he was literally speaking from a script. Yeah, he's speaking from a script, but I will say the thing that felt genuine was at the very end when he said, I owe everything to Charlie. That's when he went off script. And I don't know that they remember or know how to be authentic like that anymore. They're going to find out. Because I'm very authentic, and us having a face-to-face, I think it's the best way to answer this. Look, I came from Turning Point USA, so you guys know that me doing this, there's an element of heartache. You don't go into an organization and help to build it up because you one day hope that the founder of it is going to be assassinated so that you can destroy it. The very thing that you helped to build in a very big way. I contributed greatly to Turning Point USA's success, and they would never deny that. And so it's sad. It is really sad to see this sort of elitist direction that they're taking we thought you guys would be smarter than to listen to her. Oh, you guys are Antifa. What is that? It's such crap. James Gray writes, sorry, I already read that one. Tara writes, licensed psychotherapist here. This is obviously an attempt to psychologically manipulate, and a terrible one at that. I would gladly put my license on the line at this point to help in even the smallest of ways, holding you and your family in prayer, Candace. Keep up the prayers. Keep up the prayers. Brittany Watson writes, Candace, you are not just going max, you are going scorched earth. And after watching Monday's episode, when you said that you are not some basic BI, I was like, girl, take my money. Thank you for being the world's best crime-fighting superhero. You know, I always think back to this interview that Kanye gave before I knew who he was. And I always loved Kanye. I loved his music. I loved the code of his music, which is you have to believe in yourself because the whole world is going to tell you you can't. And as soon as you step into the arena and you think you've won and you start having any modicum of success, the pressure actually only levels up. And people that you thought that you would be allies with, you find to be your enemies. Like, that's kind of the coded message of Kanye's music. But there's this interview that he gives where he says, somebody, I don't know what they asked him, but he responds and he says, you know, if you're a fan of Kanye West, you're not a fan of Kanye West. You're actually a fan of yourself. You believe in yourself and you think that you can do something in this world. And I feel...
Okay, yeah.
The same way. I think that the people who think that they're fans of mine, you're not fans of Candace. You believe in yourself. You believe that we can actually change things, and you believe that you should be able to fight for truth, and you're not going to be influenced by people that are taking money to make videos and say things. Like, there's that spark inside of you. It's kind of what I got when Kanye said that. It's not me, it's the spark that you see in me. It's the audacity to be yourself and to think your own thoughts and to keep going when the whole world tells you no. So that's how I feel. Candace, go. Awesome. Max, I love that someone picked up that name as their username. Thanks for the honest investigations. The truth shall set us all free. Thanks for the USS Liberty episode as well. To this day, the best interview that we have ever given. We were all, you could feel a spiritual movement in this room when we interviewed Phil Turney of the USS Liberty. I'll never forget that interview. It transformed me. It was a major turning point in my life. And thank you guys more. I mean, I'm so grateful to you guys, and I hope you know that I start all of my prayers with gratitude, because I started realizing that sometimes when you pray, you're asking for a lot. Mm-hmm. But if you start with gratitude of the things that you're thankful for, like, you know, you come to God and you're like, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful. By the time you get through all the things that you're grateful for, you're like, man, do I really want to lodge any complaints? It's a good way to pray. And I always say that I am grateful for the people around the world that believed in me and that continue to believe in me. And yeah, sometimes I make mistakes, I get time zones wrong, but at least you guys can see that my heart is in the right place, and I really do just genuinely want the answers. So
it's about the heart.
I'm glad that we are at long last going to get them from Turning Point USA. It sounds like I said, I'll do this tomorrow. I don't have to be in person. We can live stream this. I think that people trust me to represent all of the questions that we have, and we can have the money go to Turning Point USA. Every dollar that's raised, I would gladly sacrifice that to the organization. That's how much it means to just be able to get these questions answered. Anyways, you guys, we will.
Yeah, You know, it's just about, it's not about Democrat, Republican. It's not about red or blue, black or white. It's about what's right. And I'm proud of her. She's come a long ways, you know, and I just thank God for her recognizing when the light came on and she pulled away from darkness. And hopefully that could be an example for all of us, you know. And sometimes when we play in darkness, sometimes we play in darkness too long, and sometimes it's hard to get out of darkness. And when God cut on the light, hopefully, you know, we're not so blinded that we cannot see the light, you know. Okay, good people, it's time to go to sleep. I'll catch y'all later on in the day. We're going to pray for protection. God protects Candace. I pray that God protects each and every one of you. I pray that God protects me. I pray the shield of protection around us all. Okay? And I pray for those who are in darkness, that God pulls them into the light. I hope. What I hope for us, I hope for them as well. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Good night. Peace. Peace and hair grease, baby. Peace and hair grease, baby. You know, I have to tap into the ghetto side of her we saw today, cause we saw that ghetto side. She got a little gang. Thank you, Denise. She got a little gang. Yeah. Woo-wee. Bye, Specs. Bye, Pete. Bye, Dorothy, Jody. Gang. We saw it. It was like, girl, put your hand down. What you mean? You know, put your gangster. You gotta put gangster. Gang. Oh, y'all. Good night. Mwah.